Man, we are doomed. As a society, we are doomed. There are so many stupid ass people in this world that they don't stop to think about shit. What's up, 96? What's going on? Now we are doomed the way you spelled it. What's up, AR? Yeah, I'd just be fucking around when I be making titles up. Anyways, and I'm just sitting here kind of getting caught up in the community this morning. And I'm reading comments and I'm watching, people post pictures of tax shit. These people don't work for me. I fired them 5 months ago. Why are they still got my name on it? Bro, instead of trying to take up for some fucking child molester, why don't you go help your buddy and explain to him that last year's taxes get filed this year? And if they were paid to do a job last year, they have to file the taxes for it this year. That's how it fucking works. And the people that fall for that shit are just, bro, tell me you ain't been on top of your business without telling me you ain't been on top of your business. You can't pay people to do everything for you. Some things you have to do yourself. When I seen that, I was just like, oh my God, man. Don't worry, you'll stumble upon it today and it'll ring to you. I hate to even say the person's name anymore. Just because I'm so fucking embarrassed, man. What's up, big Skip? No common sense, bro. No common sense. And he's acting like I got you busted now. And it's like, bro, calm down, man. Just fucking calm down. Every time you do that, you look dumber and dumber. It just shows there's no life experience. And I kind of blame it on the the people really kissing his ass all this time, man, and doing everything for him. And that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a real fucking problem here in a couple more years because when you don't know how to function in life, mm, 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 mm. Yeah, yep, Lily Mo. That's exactly what happens. And I don't feel bad for him, man. I did it one time. I don't anymore because he's brought this shit on himself, not paying attention. You can't. Everything's just not fucking, rainbows and hugs and kisses. And trying to blame these people for fucking doing fraudinism. Come on, man. It's fucking simple taxes. I thought you were a business owner. Mm, no doubt, Skip. And I don't wish no heart, no, like ill will on him or anything. But the people that fucking agree with him and support him and shit, oh yeah, that's fucking weird. No, it's not weird. What's weird is you don't know that fucking taxes get filed from last year this year. That's shit that we were taught in school. And I probably got no shit, I probably got less schooling than anybody in this fucking community. I hate to say that. But man, well, it's not even about that. It's not even about the high school dropout shit, bro. It's just simple equations. The fact that he doesn't understand that last year's taxes get filed this year just is fucking wild, man. I watched Gotcha Man's video this morning and I was like, yep, talking about stabbing people with spears and shit. Bro, they're gonna fuck you up. You're gonna be singing in a jail cell. You better shut the fuck up. You ain't built like that. A lot of people tried to protect that dude and tried to keep him in a certain path, man. Tried to kind of sway him back onto the trail, and that motherfucker just don't get it, bro. And then if you say anything, then all of a sudden you're a bad guy or whatever. And it's like, no, you fucking look dumb as fuck right now posting that shit. Get the fuck off YouTube. Start handling your fucking business. You know, he could have stopped all that seizure shit if he'd have just handled his business. But the failure non-payment is gonna make them seize everything and auction it the fuck off is what's gonna happen. If he'd have played his card, but you know what though, him not being protected in a corporation was stupid to start with. Him not being protected. You always protect yourself, man, especially when you get that big. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. That ain't the only thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to watch one of my old crazy cousin Carl's videos too, just because he likes to play victim. Not a second in, he's fucking with.
And it only took.
No, she didn't, bro. No, she didn't, Skip. Because if she did, she tried to hide shit at the end. I don't think she was really stealing anymore because you can't believe anything he says. I think that she was just trying to hide shit there at the end. But if she'd have tried, it would have, taxes wouldn't have been unpaid and all that shit. But that dude don't listen to nobody, no way.
So
He thinks he knows
9:30 the hit
everything.
record button. Did a couple little videos. Put them out. One of the Gotcha Man.
I think she was trying to protect herself, bro. Because if you're trying to stop somebody from losing money, you don't send it to strangers on the fucking internet, and especially not drug addicts. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like, he's put out full
I'll check
stories when he's
Bulldog.
gonna put them out. I don't know. I think
What's
he's a
up,
grift.
pal
I
Stroke?
don't think he's any better than Johnny Gobble asking for money. You know what I mean? I really don't. I mean,
Decide, real quick.
does he need money to survive? I could see that, but I mean, to me, it looks like he gets a whole bunch of brand new shiny shit. You know what I mean? He loves trinkets. He loves shiny shit. And well,
The Tommy Robinson thing, is that what you're talking about?
he likes to pull out the whole heartstrings too. Oh, I take care of a child. It's not mine. Blah blah blah. Congratulations, Bob. You're being a fucking man. All those added expenses, I can relate there. Gotcha, man. You know what I mean? But this ain't
He's
my first
hiding right now, bro. He's disappeared off the internet. He can't take it no more. He tries to fucking claim victim status, like everybody's gang stalking him and all that shit. But that's why I watch these old videos, is because he come fucking with the other people first. Nobody would even fuck with this idiot because they know he's retarded. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It's full of fucking bullshit, ain't it, man? Copper Top, how you doing, sir?
rodeo having other people's kids. You know what I mean?
Choose a different one. This dude is demonic.
But for some reason, the Gotcha Man, he felt that he had the need to call me a piece of shit and then never explained to me why I was a piece of shit. And when I tried to tell him about the little low-cal loser he is, he doesn't want nothing to do with it. Pathetic and weak this world is. Fucking weak.
What's up, Slayback?
Little me.
Bro, so I see this morning, I see this morning now all of a sudden Ricky Peevler ain't guilty anymore. What the fuck is going on with this?
There's one of my little favorite pedal protectors, eh? Hey, buddy, what are you doing? What do you want to talk about, little me? Hey, how do you think this is going to go down for you? Do you believe there's a God? Do you think we're in the end times, buddy? Want to know something weird I was watching?
We'll watch it, Bulldog, for sure.
It's still on my TV screen.
For sure. Because I keep questioning myself, why the fuck Trump has not just wiped that place off the map? I don't get it. Maybe there's more to it that I don't understand. Maybe he's waiting for infighting to do whatever he's going to do. I don't know, but I'm about sick of hearing that they want to make a deal. Because I mean, how many times you gonna say that shit?
Iran is accusing Netanyahu and them of using fucking witchcraft and jinns. Hey, that couldn't be possible, right? Come on, that's just silliness. Hey, you know,
Bro,
Anton LaVey and his buddy.
if you don't fucking get the picture from the police report, then something's wrong with you. Hey, Christy, that's all I'm gonna say. Well, maybe not all I'm gonna say, but the simple fact that one of them ain't here anymore, that says a lot too, right? That shit fucks with a kid. Like, yeah, fuck that. And fuck that dude.
And Freud and
Even standing beside that
little
shit,
Zion.
trying to take up for him. I mean, if that dude's not guilty, let him get his ass up here and fucking try to convince everybody. Something don't fucking jive with that shit. And then threatening them kids, they gonna hurt them. I mean, get the fuck out of here, man.
Sort of thing. I'm just saying. I'm not putting them all together, but Benjamin Netanyahu kills. Thou shalt not kill. Hey, chosen one. Hey, the leader of the chosen people. Hey, you've chosen to be a fucking dipshit. Hey, little me, just like you. Could you imagine if you end up in the same place as Netanyahu?
Yeah, no doubt. Cop for life.
Hey, buddy, I don't know where you go. I don't know if you continue or what. You know what I mean? I do. I honestly do. I do. I fucking want you to come too. You know what I mean? I hope you take your medicine
Oh, he
either
was
way.
live
You know
again
what I mean?
today.
But I don't wish you a fucking
He was mad at you yesterday, wasn't he? Fuck him in that piece of shit truck.
existence of hell. You should ask him to use some on you. Yeah, help with your psychosis. What psychosis? Fuck stain? The one that you're a pedo protector? No, that's real shit, brother. Prove me wrong. Hey? No, you've told me
He was
you
so
know
proud
all
of
about
that
Billy
fucking Harbor
Gates.
Freight
Hey?
winch, wasn't he? I'm putting a 12,000-pound winch for what, motherfucker? You don't know how to use it.
Well, this is simple common sense shit, and you can't get it in your head. I don't fucking get it, but you know Bill Gates is a bad guy, and yet, well, I'm just oh, little me.
Oh, they blocked me right off the rip over there. They blocked me right off the rip.
Oh, little me. Oh, little me. Fuck, it's gonna. I almost feel sorry for you. The amount of sorries you're gonna want to say to me, bud. The ass
And I
kissing
wasn't
you're
even
gonna want to
trolling.
do, and I'm not gonna allow it, bud. I will not. Will not. Will not. You're a big, strong boy, and you're gonna get through this on your own accord, aren't you? You gotta learn your own lessons. And well, what's the lesson we're
Oh,
gonna
he
learn,
blows
little
bubbles
me?
with that motherfucker for sure.
Don't mess with God's people.
Let me pull this
But
video
guess what?
up
You're God's
that
people, little
Rich
me.
Bulldog sent.
You just
You'll
don't
like it.
realize it because you're really fucking stupid and ignorant. And hey, you like to take God's people and you like to smash them around and make up little stories. Oh, can you imagine, dude? Good job, buddy. Good job. Enjoy Satanville. I really hope it doesn't exist. But I do want you to taste the pain. So before you leave, at least you knew why you left. And after that, I hope you never know you existed. You know what I mean? You couldn't find your light. So who knows? I don't know how this works, buddy. God only sent me here to find Jesus. Search the truth. Oh, look at you. You must be spinning. When you get a grasp of God, you're going to spin in your brain. I'm going to be everything you think about, bud. But I'm telling you right now, do not think about me. You need to put your mind on Jesus. Forget about your past, little me. How can you be a better me? You can learn from your past, right? Then you'll have a testimony. Hey, look at me. I used to be one of the biggest dipshits that ever walked the face of the earth. And thanks to my own stupidity, I got to Cam too. I'd rather have that than the consequences of, well, what if there is a hell? And you were just so stupid
What's
and
up,
ignorant
MO
just to
Will?
fucking get what you deserve, right? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think the devil's doing a number on you. You have a great night, Carl. God bless. Well, you too, OT. What do you want to talk about, little me? Want to talk about Uncle Will? Hey, buddy. I got a little Uncle Will video in the oven. Right? Yeah. Did you know that he blocked me from Instagram?
Oh,
He blocked me after I put that thing of him threatening me on fucking YouTube. Can you imagine that? What a
how is saying that I'm gonna call the nut house a threat? If you're not crazy, it shouldn't be a threat, right?
weak little fucking loser. Blocks me all the time. You're the only one that doesn't block. You know that there, little me. That's why I got a special little spot for you. Timmy, he blocked me. Can you imagine that big, tough fucking Sergeant Stupid there? Fuck. He doesn't even know what a joke he looks like in God's eyes, eh? Can you imagine God watching him go to fucking Paintsville, being the big tough guy that he is, get slapped around by fucking Dagburn? Can you imagine the
The only reason
embarrassment?
that I blocked
He
him,
said
though, to be
feel-
honest with you, is because I knew it was gonna make him cry.
Embarrassed. He fucking should. Because he thought Dagburn was a nothing. And well, Dagburn may be a nothing, but he's less than Dagburn.
Actually, I think I sent him a message, and then I blocked him so he couldn't respond to it because I knew it would eat his ass up because he's just a fucking momo.
Hey, buddy. USA, USA. What do you want to do? Talk about some Trump? I just watched Charlie Sheen. You remember that guy? Got AIDS, spread it around. Nothing ever happened to him. Well, anyways, he was telling the Trump story about his wedding or something. I think it was. Trump, right from his heart, gave him some cufflinks.
Oh, no doubt.
And I guess Charlie said, I can't do this, Mr. Trump. He goes, no.
Look, anybody that knows they got that kind of situation going on and won't fucking go get help, there ain't nothing you can do for nobody like that. He just wants to be the victim.
Mind your business a bit more then, mate, in future. How about that?
How about you mind your fucking business, you little prick? Yeah? If you're such a big man, can you? In what world can you go up to a man, in what world, either aggressively confront him, call him a C-U-N-T, or call him a horrible little prick, or any of these things without a reaction? I'm not a politician, okay? I'm a normal man. And I'm not a human punch bag, and I'm not a verbal punch bag. If you come up to me and you say something to me, or you're aggressive towards me, expect a reaction. Airport, and this brave man tries to walk up to me and call me a prick. Didn't you?
Well, mate, we'll go viral, mate. Go on.
Go on. Why am I a prick? Why am I a prick?
Of course you are, mate.
Why am I a prick? What have I said that's racist? What have I said that's racist, big man? Come on, big man. What have I said that's racist?
I'm bigger than him.
Imagine being with your wife and doing this. Imagine that. Because in the first few years of the English Defence League, I was that worried about reacting. I kept my hands down by my side, pretty much behind my back, because I didn't want court cases. I didn't want to go to jail. And there's an instant where I'm hitting Luton Town Centre and I fall over a curb and I'm mocked for it. That was because I should have knocked him out the minute he come towards me, but I didn't. And then I decided it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I was prosecuted in prison. You can watch it on 24 hours in police custody for defending myself, successfully defending myself, which I do a lot of the time. Yeah. So, one gentleman at an airport, both these instances, I get this all the time. I'm just sharing these two here. One gentleman at an airport come up to me. He saw me in the toilet, and he didn't come up to me in the toilet because he'd been asleep in the urinal. Yeah. But he come up to me, walked right up to me, and called me a "see you next Tuesday" to my face. and then hurried off. So I followed him. Oh, you little wanker. Oi, you little wanker.
Oi.
Who are you calling to come?
What you say?
Who are you calling to come? Who are you calling to come?
You filming me?
Yeah, I'm filming you, you prick. Who are you calling to come? You wouldn't say that outside, would you? You fucking little shithouse. Would you? What? You fucking little mug. You fucking little wanker. Look here, you shithouse cunt. In what world do you think you can do that? People say you shouldn't react. I've just done a video about some reactions. I am impulsive. Yeah, I am quick to temper. These are consequences probably of complex post-traumatic stress disorder and spending time in solitary confinement. So you're lucky you didn't get on that straight away.
This dude right here.
But
I really do, because he sees the collapse of his fucking country and he can't get these shitbags to wake up. That's that white guilt that they've tried to push on us for all these years. And you know what, man? I think I said this the other day when I was live, and it finally kind of made sense to me. I honestly believe that China is behind all these immigrants coming to our country because we're a Christian nation. And if they can get all these Muslim immigrants over here, they know that we're going to clash. And it's just one more way to fucking topple us.
did confront him.
It ain't all about voting, right? But the Democrats were definitely going to use the fucking voting. And China paid a lot of them Democrats off. If you don't believe me, go fucking look for yourself. They paid a lot of them motherfuckers off, change the laws and do what they wanted to do so they could tear us down from the inside out. And the problem is they've made all the younger generation so fucking soft that they're not going to stand up and do anything.
And do you know what he done? Shit himself and legged it like a bitch. Run to security in the end. Security, run off in the airport, yeah? Then the next week, I'm in the airport and some bloke comes up to me, called me a dirty little racist prick, yeah? So then I'll get my phone out and I go over to him to confront him. No, I was minding my own business. I've just walked past I've just walked past.
Mind your business a bit more then, mate, in future. How about that?
How about you mind your fucking business, you little prick? Yeah? If you're such a big man, can you? Now, he hides behind his wife. Now, some people say you should react differently. Maybe I should, yeah? But I'm not going to continually be a verbal punch bag for people who don't like me. If you say something to me, expect a reaction and be a man about it. Don't run off to security.
Yes,
And don't hide behind your wife.
That's the way, bro. That's the way. And you get all these people, you know, they'll take up for, and look, you shouldn't hate somebody for the color of their skin. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with people trying to force their religion and their culture on me.
You see, if it was in the
And
street,
they always like to go back, well, this is stolen land.
you wouldn't say something to me. No, you wouldn't, because I'll take your
We
fucking
settled
money.
this
Walk in the
land.
toilet.
This
Come in the
land was nowhere near what it is today. And if it wasn't for fucking Europeans, it wouldn't be what it is.
toilet. Come in the toilet. The toilet's there. Come in the toilet. Come in the fucking toilet. Yeah, because you're a pussy. Come in the toilet. You see, there's an instant, or there's a video of me in Portugal where I put some prick to sleep and give him giraffe legs, yeah? And I did that because he'd come up to me in front of my wife and disrespected me multiple times in front of my wife. I warned him. And look at this little bitch hiding behind his wife. Imagine, like, you confronted me. Imagine letting someone speak to you that way in front of your wife. You're an absolute bitch, yeah? But I don't want to have to be reacting like this. But I have to.
Oh my God.
You're Fanny.
Little man.
Who will bust your fucking head off, you little prick. Do something. You know, if I had a problem with something, I'll do something. If I had a problem with someone, I'll do something. Instead, you hide behind your missus.
Excuse me.
You sit down and hide behind your missus.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
something.
It's because they've been shamed
so why is
into
he
being fucking white. I'm not ashamed of being white. I'm gonna tell you that right fucking now.
Why is it? What your partner's come up to me in an airport? So to those who detract against me, try walking in my shoes. If I don't do this, yeah, then I become a punch bag. People think they can punch me. They know they can't punch me because they're going to get punched back. They know that. Everyone knows that. Yeah. Don't think you can come up to me and verbally assault me without me making comments myself. Don't think you can do that. Yeah. So I don't want to be doing this. So if you don't want to be confronted, physically or verbally, stay the fuck out of my way. Don't come up to me and abuse me. People say, yeah, but it's free speech. Yeah, but it's free speech. Yeah, but it's free speech. In what world do you think you can insult people to their face when they're with family members and not get a reaction? So you're going to get reaction. If you're going to get reaction, at least be prepared to swing it out. Don't end up running security in the airport and don't end up hiding behind your wife. Yeah. So I'd like anyone who can give me this gentleman's name, please, online. Please DM me with his details, where he works, every single bit of information about this fucking little mug, so I can come and see him again when we're not in an airport. Yeah? You know, I'll find out every detail about you.
Yeah, go on.
So both these men, this is in the last 2 weeks this has happened. Yeah? This happens all the time. But I'm sharing these because some people say you acted aggressively, and I saw a lot of people in the comments. Listen, I'm me, not a politician, not perfect. Yeah? I'm not. Have my own problems, have my own issues like everyone does. Many of my issues come from 2 years of solitary confinement, okay? But don't come up to me if you don't want a reaction. And then don't hide like a little bitch behind your wife. And I actually apologise to this gentleman's wife, yeah? I apologise to her for having to stand and watch that and watch this incident.
No. See, I don't agree with that. Don't apologize to her either. She knows what she's fucking defending. That's his wife. She knows exactly who that motherfucker is.
But your husband should not be confronting people when they're with family members, in airports or anywhere. See, these dickheads think they're safe because they're in an airport. It's what I said to both of them. You wouldn't have said that if I was walking down the side street. No, none of you would. Yeah? And I'm not saying I'm He-Man or fucking super hard, but for every action, there's a reaction. Stay out of my way. Don't abuse me. Don't assault me. Don't attack me, because I will defend myself. Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, no doubt. Good for him. Good for him. I know you're super proud of him, British Bulldog, and you have every right to be. That's what the fuck we need over here, to be honest with you.
What has Britain been lacking for a long time? Strong men of faith and identity. Now, for too long, our youth are looking up to rappers and gangsters, and they're admiring them and wanting to be like them. We need strong English Christian men for the youth to look up to. I'm about to meet two men now who I think are incredible role models for the next generation.
You know what, Bulldog? It's gonna take the threat coming to people's doors to really take it serious. People are not. I see it. I see the fucking change. I see what's going on. I've been seeing it for the last, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years, real heavy. People ain't gonna get ready to do nothing until the threat comes to their yard. That's all. It's the only thing I can fucking figure. Say it now, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. There's nothing wrong with being proud to be black. There's nothing wrong with being proud to be white. When you try to shame a certain class of people for fucking the color they are, that's wrong. I don't give a fuck who you are. Shout out, Pro Sweet Juice.
Tommy and Duffy.
Tommy.
First of all, I saw you spring up on my screen and I saw you training in the park, which I know for myself. I only found out
no
4 years ago.
No fucking doubt. We should be able to have a culture too. And, you know, I'm going to say something that probably pisses a lot of people off, but the older white generation seen this coming. That's why they acted the way they did back then. They seen this shit coming.
Physical fitness is for that. So when I saw you guys getting active, I started following what you're doing.
Oh, you're black from now on,
which was encouraging. So I just want to sit down first of all to ask, why did you do it? What made you start? Whose idea was it? Did you come together with it?
Yeah, so it was my idea originally, and I was lying in bed, and you know what it is, I did like a hard challenge, did something hard.
The next time you get fucking pulled over, if I don't see you fucking raise hell and fucking talk shit and roll your windows up till they get broke out, then I'm gonna call you a fucking Uncle Tom. You just be Uncle Tom then. You won't be MOL.
Our challenge was community. Do you know what I mean? It was commonly united people coming together to support one another, to just be there. You know, you just seen strength within it. And I'd finished that, and I didn't want to spend the rest of my life just doing a hard challenge every few weeks, couple of months.
Get out and do the 100-yard dash too, to get away from them. It's
good, but at the same time, it's like, it's lonely. But when you're with people, it's special. So I was flicking through my phone, and I had the Instagram algorithm up, and then Dagestan videos come on, where you have like all Khabib, Nurmagomedov and all them, where they're all training together. And it's a strong Muslim population, but what they've got over there is a connection to faith. They've got a sense of brotherhood and hard physical training. And that's something that we're missing in the United Kingdom as a whole. So the inspiration then sprung to mind, and I Googled on my phone, what's the suicide rate in Dagestan? And it's 90% lower than the United Kingdom. And it comes down to those three things, which is connection to faith, hard physical training, and yeah, brotherhood.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to stomp out the Christian religion so bad.
And it's definitely something that we're missing in the United Kingdom. And don't get me wrong, you've got the cultural difference. They've been brought up with that. But I thought to myself, why can't we do something similar? And approach Duffy.
How do you know, John?
So we know each other from a gym that we both train in. I'm one of the coaches. And when we met, we just sort of got each other straight away. So yeah, that's how we sort of know each other. When this come up, when someone approached me with this, Tommy, I'd just come out of rehab. And I was
What's up, Kevin?
Drop like flies and relapse all the time. And the stuff that was keeping me well, the stuff that I was thriving with, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. More people can benefit from this.
So then you spoke and what, just arranged the first day at the park?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I put an Instagram video on, didn't I? And it was, you can go back and see it, and it was like filming there. I didn't even know.
Was this your first video?
Yeah, first video. Like not my first ever Instagram one, because I'd already done a few, but I was like, we'll get one on.
The Men's Social Network will be meeting up the 6th of December at First Light at Roydon Park, and we will be training like Dagestanis. And the reason I emphasise on Dagestanis is because the male suicide rate in Dagestan is around 90% lower than what it is in the UK. And what a lot of this comes down to is a connection to faith, a sense of community, and hard regimented training. These are things that we are missing in today's society in the UK. We've lost it over the years. If this is something you want to be a part of, drop me a message and I'll see you there. It's going to be hard, but we're all going to do it together. We're going to sit down afterwards. We're going to talk. We're going to introduce ourselves. And we're going to build this community.
Obviously spoke to Duffy and then spoke to a few people, and I think around 7 people rocked up. I think Sam Logan came, did a little prayer, open up the session. And we were just authentic with the lads from the get-go and just transparent. Obviously you introduce yourself as who you are, your past, and
yeah. So that I mean, first of all, the hook was this thing like Dagestanis. You know, this sparked people's interest. Like, what's someone about here saying like Dagestan? Yeah, sounds great, sounds amazing. Men getting together, men in parks training, all the stuff, connection, faith, everything else. And then, like he said there, he asked me to come on, and I spoke to the guys. And what I said to the lads, Tommy, I introduced myself, and what, like we always say, it's by design. So when I first met the lads, I wanted them to know they're in good hands. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm a coach in this gym. I've been doing this for all my life. A little bit about me being a father. And the final thing I told them, I said, and I'm an alcoholic in recovery. Because I wanted these lads to see that it's okay for them to be open about stuff. We're all flawed. I wanted them to see that not only am I going to be able to take it out here into the field with Tom, put a command in, you're going to do it, and you're going to feel confident that you're going to get something out of it and leave you a better person. But also as well, we're all helping one another. You're helping me, you're helping Tom, and we're all helping each other.
What's up? Teaching them how to defend themselves.
Yeah. You mentioned faith. When did you find faith, and how important is faith in what you're doing? Because I've seen this. When I saw someone standing doing a prayer with a group of men in the park. Yeah. First time I've ever seen it. And the first time I've ever seen relatable lads. Yeah. Not old 70-year-old priests who have got nothing in common with us, but a group of young men. Yeah. So, and I was like, wow, something's happening.
Yeah, it was a good while ago now, but I believe I've always believed in something, but I never had faith. And that's the difference is you can believe, okay, but when you have faith, that's when you start to see miracles. When Jesus went back to Nazareth, little faith was performed. There was little faith. There was little miracles when he went back to Nazareth. There was little miracles because there wasn't much faith. And everywhere else he went, there was faith.
Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. That's exactly what we're doing on this field. It's not just here, this is a movement.
We got men training in Hertfordshire, Hampshire, Stoke, Manchester, Glasgow, Teesside.
Good. It's good.
These
to
are
see
growing
that.
all up and down the country. We want men moving, men training, men being better, men holding each other accountable, holding each other to a high standard. That's what we're missing in society in this country. Men have lost their way, and here we're bringing it back. Teaching men that what society's normalised is wrong. What we're doing here is right. It's good
Y'all
for
think
men.
Nick Shirley's a fucking plant?
Men need men. We say it all the time. The British Army has a system, the buddy system. Look out for your mate. He looks out for you, checking on your mate. Don't speak to him for a week. Here, message him, call him, see how he's getting on, see how he's doing. There's random fellas here that are meeting up that have never met each other before. That's what we're doing. We're coming together as a community, as every other community should.
So as an evangelical Christian, I've looked around for the past few decades and I've seen the slow and slight decline of Christianity and Christian values in our culture. And that ranges from the removal of Christianity in schools to become agnostic, and then the rise in other faiths and ideologies. I've seen the removal of our Christian dating system. For example, BC and AD has been replaced by BCE and BC, and just subtle things
Yeah, no
like
doubt.
no one asks your
No
Christian
doubt.
name anymore. What's your first name? What's your surname?
It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. Anytime you can get young men to start following Christ and start, doing physical activities and shit, because like the idle hands are devil's playground for sure.
I only bought this testosterone supplement out of spite because my training partner wouldn't shut.
This is a crazy situation right now.
Pedro Sánchez, gracias. Pedro Sánchez, Viva España.
Do you think it will take vigilantes to actually make a difference here inside of
I'm
Europe?
the first vigilante here. They're gonna fear me.
¿Por qué mujeres no vinieron aquí? Now they're all coming down, being walked down the mountain right now. Here in Spain, they received over 60,000 migrants who came across from the Moroccan border into the country of Spain. This is mainland Spain right behind me. However, right now I'm heading over to Ceuta, which is actually a town in Spain. However, it is on the African continent. There's a few towns that are part of Spain that are on the African continent, and Ceuta is one of them. Literally over 60,000 migrants came across their border. A lot of people are wondering what actually happened. So therefore, we're heading there right now to see it for ourselves. These migrants quite literally came over by the truckloads into Spain, and people are wondering if it's a coordinated attack or if it was just
it's
the
definitely
Moroccans
a
that were coming over
coordinated
and
attack.
seeking for a better life, or if it was
Somebody's
an actual
funding this,
invasion.
Right? This
And
shit
just
don't happen on its own. Somebody is definitely funding this.
recently, in April, the Prime Minister of Spain came out with a plan to give over 500,000 migrants legal status here inside of the country. Right now, we're heading over to Ceuta to see it for ourselves. We'll be speaking with the migrants themselves, with the Spaniards, and we'll even be going to the border to see what.
When I was younger, we saw cases of beer in New York strips there 2 times a week.
actually happened here inside this town. And right now, if you are not subscribed to the
That's why you're
channel,
so
we're
heavy,
so
boy.
close to 2 million subscribers, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and now let's see what is actually happening. Here we go. Now to start, I met up with citizen vigilante by the name Mancia, who saw and predicted that the migrants were coming just days before. And now let's go see what is happening. We've arrived now, and we're here with Mancia. Mancia's from here in Spain. Right now we have a group of men right here. Look, they're covering up their faces. ¿Eres de Morocco? You from Morocco?
No ladrones, no carteristas.
¿Por qué vinieron aquí a España?
No hablar mucho.
Trabajo.
Trabajando, no carteristas, no ladrones.
Cruzaste nadando.
Yeah.
Nadando. Okay. These people don't want to leave. They want to go to Europe. They want to go to Spain. So that's their mission here. That's why they crossed by swimming.
On July 31st was the day when quite literally 60,000 people came across. And right now, a lot of those young men have returned back to Morocco. But now you just have groups of these men walking around this town. Just like this one right here.
These groups are creating insecurity. The military are here as well.
This is Morocco.
He said one thing. He said, this is Morocco. One of them said, this is Morocco because they
they think this is Morocco, but Spain, this has been Spanish since 400 years. 400 years before Morocco got his independence. So it doesn't make any sense. But still, they say this is Morocco.
Is this the first stop for most migrants to head up into the rest of Europe?
Yes, this is the main door.
He's saying they come and
the
take
main
their
gate.
land back.
Yeah.
And right now we're heading to the border. Here we go. We've made it here to the border, and a lot of these migrants are actually now going back to Morocco. So for instance, right here, we have a group of Moroccans that are now going back to Morocco. So right here is where they all came into the country, and right now they're going back to Morocco. Now there are still thousands upon thousands of migrants out inside the city, and we'll be finding them in just a moment. However, it's super important for you guys to understand exactly what happened at the border. So this is the border right now. We do have some people that are turning themselves in, and now they're saying just go back to Morocco. And it looks like you guys do have some floaties out now to stop people from coming in. Were those there before?
The thing is, I don't understand why they didn't put this before when this started. Why now? Why now? That's my question.
Do you think it was coordinated to let them all come in that day?
It's coordinated because I cannot imagine a country like Morocco, which is investing heavily in cybersecurity, in military, how these people can get out of control in this country. It's unbelievable. Nobody can believe this is not coordinated.
You guys going back to Morocco?
Yeah. ¿Cuándo viniste aquí?
Ask them why they came here and what's the situation like in Morocco.
They came thinking that they will have work and food here, and there is not, so they go back.
How come everyone came in flip-flops? ¿Por qué todos vinieron aquí en chanclas?
Viva
Harraga! Viva Harraga وفسحة كما العالم! What was it like the day everyone started coming in?
Yo qué sé, esto es un jaleo muy grande. Nos han hecho un alboroto total.
So now we have another person going back to Morocco. When everyone came through, they actually closed down all the shops because they were afraid of the towns were about to get looted. So when all the migrants came over here, they thought they were going to get food, they were going to try to get jobs, but all the stores were closed. Everyone just came through the border. They swam from the Moroccan side. Those floaties weren't there at the time, so they all just swam in or walked across the border here.
They were swimming and walking through these rocks. Someone crossing.
So right now you have a group of people trying to swim in right now, and then you also have people being taken back into Morocco.
Look at all the fucking
Spanish
trash.
police. While people are actively trying to swim into Spain right now, you actually have them also sending the people back to Morocco at the same time. It looks like you have the Navy out here. Where were they out the day when everyone came through?
They came the day after this ship in order to provide support.
And how did you know that people were going to start crossing into Spain the day that they did? Because you came all the way from Madrid.
Yeah, I came all the way over from Madrid by car because from Monday I started to see in the news that a little amount of people was doing that, but not at this dimension. It started slowly and then got completely out of hands.
And so you saw it ahead of time, but the military and the police didn't.
Correct. That's a good point. I didn't think about that, but yes.
So you think they could have done something to stop this?
Yeah, they could did something beforehand.
These fucking politicians are paid off. They're being paid to fuck.
And that right.
Not everybody around the world is this fucking dumb. You know what I mean? This shit just don't make no fucking sense. If they can prove, and if they can fucking prove it, these people need to be charged with treason, man. Let's see what old fat boy is signing today. The fuck's he even signing?
Blue chews.
Order on.
4 ingredients. Works on the body, works on the brain. 15 minutes to kick in. Lasts 36 hours.
Wait, 36? That's like a whole week.
Anybody have anything to say or question or statement? Would you like to make a statement? Yes,
Can I just say, I'm so excited. We've served with the Wills-Box now for a number of years, and I've seen them champion the enlisted corps. As the spouse of a senior enlisted leader, it's pretty easy for something amazing like this to happen and not include the enlisted corps, the senior enlisted leaders from the enlisted corps. It means the world to me that this started with them in mind. And I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, my husband was serving in Alaska, and before you got on the plane, he asked your detail if he could ask you a question, and he asked if you would FaceTime me, and you did. It meant the world.
People I respect, I do that.
You're getting ready to get on the plane, and this E9, this enlisted command chief asked you to FaceTime me, and you put your arm around him. You said, "He's doing a good job. Take good care of him." And that picture has hung in his office since. And it just means the world to me that you highlight the enlisted corps every chance you get. And I love to tell people that story, that you took the time
That's so
for.
nice. Thank you very much. Say hello. Okay. I remember. Please, anybody else?
Mr. President, this is Cindy Wilsbach, who's humble to
That's
her
right.
core and has had a significant role in putting this commission together. So I just want to highlight Cindy's work.
I would just like to say this is a red letter day for me.
What's
Just
up,
the
Grady
honor
Randy?
that I feel to be surrounded by these spouses who, what I like to say is we serve by oath or by vow. We didn't all raise our right hand to take an oath, but we began serving this great nation when we extended our left hand and said a vow to the person that we love that serves this country. And we represent people that are at the end of their careers. We've served decades, 20, 30, 40 years of service. This is about the legacy that we leave for the people that come after us,
That's
for these
great.
people who have children who are serving now, or for families that we say, we love you, we care about you, and we are the greatest military in the world. And part of that is taking care of our families. And that's what this commission will
And
do.
your husband is highly respected, I have to tell you, by everybody, by everybody. Anybody over here? Yes, please.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Coast Guard, we cannot thank you enough for the amount of money that you have put into our organization. We are beyond.
You still
excited
daydreaming
the
about that
potentials
fucking New
that we
York
have.
strip, ain't you, brother?
We could just feel it. The whole Coast Guard. Every time we go to visit our different units and our families, people are super
Including
excited.
11 ice cutters, right?
Absolutely. I'll be talking. Yes.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yes,
Brenda.
sir. Yes, sir.
They had one, Russia has 48. They had one, and it was 50 years old. And you're going to soon be getting 11 brand new ones
That's
at the
what's
top
up.
of the line. So that's a big,
Well,
that's a
our
big
people are very thrilled and super excited and very thankful to you. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good. Anybody else like to say? Last chance. That's it. So I'm going to sign this, and it's a real honor. And then if you like, you could ask questions of the people, and or me if you want. Okay, that's a good one. So I wouldn't want a bad one on this side. Some are good. You know, we rate them from 6 to 10. 6 is usually when I'm standing up holding it. You can't do a very good one, but that's a 10. So you deserve a 10 too.
So I was listening to Glenn Beck this morning talking about Trump, and he was reflecting on his last presidency. He said, I guess Glenn had asked him the question, which was harder, the first term or the second term? And he said the first term because he didn't know the pitfalls and he didn't know what he was doing, and he was hunted. This time, he knows what he's doing. He knows the pitfalls, and he's the hunter. Said there's going to be some big people to fall here pretty quick, which is a good thing. Let's see if he stands with it. I hope that he does take them out.
Questions, please? Please.
On behalf of the press corps, thank you, ladies, for what you do for our service members in this country.
Thank you.
Mr. President, are the talks with Iran now off and our airstrikes?
No,
back
they're
on?
on. They're going on right now. It's an amazing thing. We have a little problem with Iran because we have many talks and we'll say we have or we don't have. You know, we're straight about it. But they deny, but they're not denying it now. They just put out a statement not denying it. But for some reason, they, when they're talking, they don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, we're in talks. Big deal. We're in talks. And they'll sometimes deny it, even though they spend hours and hours together talking. No, the talks are going along. We're going to hit them very hard yesterday, very, very hard, harder than any attack. I think I can say, General, from a point of knowledge, any attack since World War II. That's pretty big. And we were set
What's
to go, and they called. And in addition, Saudi Arabia called, and UAE called, Qatar called. Got calls from numerous people. Not, I don't want to use the word begging, but some were, in particular, Iran did not want to be hit. And they said, we want to talk. We want to talk about the Strait, but more importantly, from my standpoint, we want to talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because it's what it's all about. This is why I'm doing this. And it should have been done. It's now 50 years. We keep saying 47 years, but 3 years have gone by. But it's for 50 years that other presidents should have been doing or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but other countries. And nobody did it. And it was time. And we hit them hard with the B-2s more than a year ago now. And that knocked out their capability, their potential capability. We've done a great job. But when we talk, we say we're talking. If we're not talking, when you ask me, no, we're not talking, I'll say it. But we are talking right now. We're talking. And we're talking at the request of Iran, backed by Saudi Arabia, backed by UAE, and backed by Qatar in particular, but others also. Many countries called, the leaders of many are friendly with a lot of them, almost all of them, one way or the other, and they all wanted to give this a last chance. This is a last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is a last chance for them to sign a good document. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani is requiring an ID to access his government-run grocery stores. What then is your message to Democrats who do not want to pass the Save America Act and ensure, ID at the ballot
When was
box?
this announced? This was just announced.
Yeah.
I heard about it. Yeah. Well, I wish they'd have an ID to access the voting booth. You know, they don't want to access the voting booth with any identification. We want voter ID. And we want proof of citizenship.
Government-run grocery
also had
stores. What the fuck is she even talking about? I'd never heard of no government-run grocery stores.
Where you had to have 2 different IDs to shovel snow during the winter.
My boys deserve the same shot I got, but Florida's pricing out our future. Dad, are we gonna play? Just
Very good. All right. Good question. Very good. A
There
good
are
group.
almost 20 GOP senators who have pledged to stay in DC to pass the Save America Act. So what's your message to the rest of the senators who are still on their summer recess?
I think there's nothing more important than the Save America Act. I think they should stay. They do what they want, but I think they should stay. I think it's so important to get it passed. Yeah.
Mr. President, where are the Iran talks and what are your
We'll
requirements
find
right
out today
now?
or tomorrow. I mean, they're going to go quickly, one way or the other. It's not very complex. We're talking about the Strait, the opening of the Strait, having it open literally by tomorrow, completely open. And that's phase 1. And phase 2 is we then will talk about the nuclear capacity, the nuclear, as we've been mentioned. That basically, it's, I think most say, the denuclearization of Iran has to happen, and that'll be the second phase. But the first phase is the opening of the straits. The second phase will be the denuclearization, and that'll take a little while. But we're very strong on it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and I have never changed in that. Yeah, please, in the back.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that if Democrats get back into power, what is happening in Spain awaits America. What should voters in other countries with elections coming up soon take away from what's going on?
We have to be very careful with the whole socialist thing. I think in many cases.
Damn, I didn't even know that shit was a thing.
Socialism.
I'll give New York, this is what the article says in the Times Union. It's not me. I'll give New York Mayor Mamdani credit for one thing. He knows how to make, I can't even hardly see that word, congressional ideas sound appealing. America spends more on food than anything except housing and transportation, and grocery prices have spiked 33% over the past 7 years. People are looking for ways to cut costs and still eat. As a mom of 4, I don't blame them. I didn't even know this was a fucking thing.
they went directly to communism. But when I saw what happened in Spain, I said, you know, we had a version of that. You could say much worse. We allowed 25 million people under Joe Biden, the Democrats. We had open borders, and countries all over the world, almost all of them, sent people that they don't want into our country. And we've gotten a lot of them out, and we're getting more, including murders. And I always said 11,888. That was the number of murders.
So they
Many of them-
continue to go on. The idea sounds charitable and even generous, but it's deeply flawed. It's not a common sense solution that empowers citizens. It's a government one that hurts taxpayers well disguised as relief for everybody's wallets. It's just one of the many obvious ways the tenant of the Democrat Socialists of America are trying to inflate real life like price control, which always backfires. This plan will too.
Committed more than one murder. And we're going to be just
I'd
like
never
that
heard of
with
anything
these
like that.
lunatics in that I see running for office. We had an open border a year and a half ago. We had the worst border in the history of our country. Now we have the best border. We haven't had one person come in, and this is done by the Democrats, not by left-leaning people. They do charts, and they have in 15 months, not one person has come in through our southern border.
I find that hard to
That's pretty
believe.
amazing. I'd say maybe 10, maybe 15. They say none. And believe me, if they did, they'd love to report it. But you could go outside in those vast plazas where hundreds of thousands of people gathered when they stormed our country, just like they did, in my opinion, worse, just like they did to Spain. They stormed our country. And those borders are those big plazas that were built. They put concrete down. And now you look at them, and there's grass growing in the cracks. Nobody comes up because they know they're not going to get through. And if they do get through, they're going to be taken out, brought back to their country. So we've done a fantastic job. You know, somebody said you did it too fast. I did it in 30 days, my first 30 days. Biden couldn't do it. He couldn't get it done. He tried at the end. He tried to do something because it was so overwhelming. It was so bad politically. But we did it in 30 days. Somebody said you should have taken a year and a half or 2 years completed because everyone forgets. Even my speechwriters, they say, sir, nobody wants to hear about the border anymore. You've done it. It's an incredible job you've done, but nobody wants to hear about it. And I should have taken a couple of years to do it because, and it actually was, the public has about a 2-year, people do. They have a 2-year memory for certain things. They have a 2-week memory. I may have gotten elected, certainly partially on the border. And because we did such a great job, it was a long time ago. I did it twice. I did it in 2016 when it was bad, but I did it this last time when it was really bad. It was, Steve, I would say many, many times worse than it was in 2016. 2016 was bad, but what we just had a year and a half ago, that was the worst border maybe in world history. There's not a third world country that would have allowed that to happen, where people coming in from prisons and people coming in from mental institutions and people forced in by government, because these are the people that those governments, those countries, I know them all, they didn't want. And they walked into a country totally unvetted, totally unchecked. Not anymore. Nobody comes in, except if they come in legally. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday you were, I'm with the Washington Examiner.
Yeah, see, that's still a question I got, right? Is like, why is this happening all over the world? This is a fucking plan from somewhere. And nobody's answering that. Who is funding the shit? You don't just start moving millions of people without somebody putting money towards it. Somebody's got to pay for something somewhere. And who the fuck is it?
You were asked yesterday whether Representative Max Miller should resign from Congress over the allegations, and you said that you'd have a look at it.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that? And also, do you think that
It's
he
a
should
very
be
sad thing. I
replaced
know
with
Max. He's a good person. I mean, I always thought he was a very good person. And I'm going to let the families figure that out. You know, those families, I know they're working on it. It's a very sad thing, especially when you know somebody so well, to be going through that. But it's accusations. And I'm going to let them figure that out. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, did you sign off on Todd Blanche rescinding the anti-weaponization fund? And also, there are Democrats right now who say there's essentially two tax codes. There's the Trump family tax code and a normal people tax code. Why do you think that your family deserves some level of special exemption?
Yeah, it's got to be somebody, pimp.
Well, I'll go into that. First of all, I had a 10-year case.
Like they were talking about that the train that came up from South America, and they were saying that people had been walking, and I want to say it was Lisa Lang that did the reporting on it, and she's like, "There's no way these people have been walking for a fucking month in flip flops and shit. People are they're funding this shit. Somebody's providing transportation to one rally point to the next, but they never got to who was funding the shit."
That was settled until I announced I was running for office. It was a settled deal like I've been doing all my life. I've been audited every year for my entire life, which I have a lot of wealthy friends. They were never audited. To this day, they were never audited. I was audited. And my deal was settled. In writing, it was settled, subject to final approval. Then I announced I was running for president. And all they did was haunt me with it. They ended the settlement, and they went after me illegally. And they did a lot of bad things to me like they did to other people. And I was treated very unfairly by the IRS. It was weaponized
Yeah,
against
they
me.
definitely
Think
did
of
that.
it. I had a case this is a 10-year-old case. And it was settled. It was done. The case was over. I announced I'm running for president, and they terminated the settlement in Washington, and they went after me. And what they did here was very, frankly, if you talk about reparations or if you talk about payment, what they did to
Somebody
me.
in the comments keeps saying, "By God, yes, we'll go to war soon." We're already at World War III, you dumb fuck.
Case against them.
The whole
So,
world's fighting.
This was a case that was settled. That when I decided to
China.
run for president, right at the beginning, this is a long time. It's been going on for a long time. They terminated the settlement, which is something that never happened before. We have letters from the biggest law firms in Washington saying that this case is nonsense, just like the Russia.
Yeah, it got hard. And see, maybe I have a hard time like trying to convey what I'm trying to say here, but you don't just get all these people lined up and ready to go without somebody fucking funding it. There's logistics to it that has to be paid. There's food, there's travel, there's lodging. Somebody, even if they're camping in tents, and even if they've got a fucking cook like the old wagon train, somebody's had to buy that shit. Somebody has put together the plan to rush all these countries with the illegals. The whole world didn't just start moving like fucking cockroaches in a Paintsville, Kentucky apartment after it's been raided.
Russia was nonsense, a weaponized government. And so that's that. And most people understand that. On the fund, these were people that were treated unbelievable. 22 suicides, more than that, I think. Look at Ashley. Look at so many other things that happened. These people were treated horribly. And this fund could have given them some solace. But, it happens to be very popular among many quarters. And I don't participate in that fund. I was certainly treated badly. I don't participate, but I thought it would be very fair for people that spent years in prison, people that were treated so badly for, in many cases, people that did absolutely nothing wrong.
What the hell's going on?
So I view that fund as a positive, and a lot of Republicans do too. Not so many Democrats. And a lot of Republicans do too. Not so many Democrats. And it's not only for that, it's for other things too. People that have been treated unfairly, that have been weaponized by a corrupt government that we had with Obama and that we had with Biden. You had a corrupt government with both of them.
Mr. President, did you sign off on Todd Blanche rescinding
I didn't
that?
look at it. All I know is that Todd Blanche is great. He's going to do a great job. Everybody knows it. And I understand there's been a sign off, but I don't know what they agreed. I think Todd Blanche agreed to reconfirm things that he's already said, and what he said was okay.
Can I ask, are there other avenues that you'd have, are there other avenues you'd have supporters get paid potentially if it's not the anti-weaponization fund? Is there another way?
Who you with?
I'm with MS Now, sir.
You who?
MS Now.
MS Now?
Yes, sir.
What a terrible show that is. They had the worst people on that show.
Are there other avenues that you want to see people
No,
pay?
there's no other avenues that I know about. Go ahead.
Mr. President, on the Iran talks.
MS Now. That's the failed MSDNC, right? The failed.
Formerly MSDNC.
They failed. They gave it a new name. You know why? Because nobody watched it.
Mm.
Go ahead. And fewer people are watching it.
That's
now.
a pretty good outlook, Gar.
Iran willing
That's a pretty good. That's a fair assessment.
fully free navigation of the strait. Is that on the table?
Say it again differently.
Would Iran be willing to return to fully free navigation of
It
the
has to
strait?
be. I'm not going to let them charge.
Would you
If anybody's going to charge, we'll charge. We're the one that has total. We have total control. You know, we have a thing called the blockade with his Navy. And that Navy is, they call it a wall of steel, the United States wall of steel.
All right, let's watch
No,
this right
no,
here.
there's not going to be charged.
Maybe this dude understands something that most people don't. Let's see. He says
think
we're
right
fucked,
now
we're not ready.
that we are in the most dangerous time here in the United States since probably World War II or even before that. And I know some people will say, this guy is crazy. We're living in the golden age of the United States of America. So much winning. Everything is wonderful. Those people would be completely clueless and delusional and have no idea what in the holy hell they're talking about. They're listening to CNN, MSNBC to get one side of the story. They're listening to Fox News to get another side of the story. And you still have these two different sides that think it's all about politics, politicians who you vote for. And they think that it won't get too bad. And if it does, we will vote for someone else and fix it next time. Completely, fully delusional. Both political parties, in my opinion, and it should be obvious to anyone that's paying any attention at all, not just my opinion, it should be it's just right there to put it right in their face, actually. It's like WWE wrestling. It's entertainment. It's for the masses to stay occupied, just like sports, and to think that they can support their politician on the left or the right and then vote a certain way next time and fix these issues. We'll get what we want next time. When in reality, this country, this corporation is being destroyed from the inside because it's been taken over by outside forces. And a lot of these forces may have
And
a
they're
dual
using our
citizenship,
own laws to fucking do it.
but they have taken the politicians over. They have taken the media over. They have taken everything over. Everything that's important. The schools, the education, the currency. They control pretty much everything. And they're using this country for their own gain, for their own wealth. And they're taking, and they don't care what happens to this country because they have an escape plan. But you look at what's happening right now in this country, for this corporation, and it is going down the drain. The economy going down the drain. The national debt keeps increasing. Our cost of living keeps increasing. Our standard of living keeps decreasing. Inflation, currency, trying to find a job that will pay what's needed to actually have a decent life in this country. It's all going down the drain. And I'm not sure.
Minimum wage. I noticed this minimum wage somewhere up north was like $16.50 an hour. $16.50 an hour. And they still wasn't making enough money to live.
Economy is going to collapse when the dollar is going to collapse. But it looks to me like that it is not very far in the future.
No, we definitely can't.
Because
go
everything that's going on now, because of the debt, because of this massive spending, because of all these wars we've had in the Middle East for, you know, who we've had these wars in the Middle East for. But it's been about our freedom and our safety, because Iraq, for example, is going to use chemical weapons on us over here, or Iraq is going to shoot a Scud missile and
That
hit
was somebody
New York.
else that was watching too. They was talking about all the weapons Iran had in the mountains. If Iran could have hit us, they would have done it. I promise you. We're gonna be all right as far as that goes. What I worry about it is the country not being able to feed itself. I don't know if any of y'all have ever did any kind of research on the Great Depression, but that shit was bad, man. That was a hard way of life. And like my pop's been through the Great Depression, and that's one of the reasons why he throws nothing away. He's a pack rat. My wife hates it because I'm the same way. I got shit that I'll never fucking use, but I won't throw it away because there might be that chance that I could use it somewhere.
City and wipe it out. That is the picture that they tried to portray to people. And so we got to go over there to fight for freedom.
Hell, right now,
and
I got
democracy here.
about fucking 10 cars in the yard. I'll never drive all them fucking pieces of shit, but I won't get rid of them.
The state somehow, or to bring freedom and democracy to those people over there. That wasn't what it's about at all. We're lied to all the time. It's like we're being lied to about this. War with Iran constantly. And it brings me to my next point, and that is United States superiority,
no doubt,
economic and militarily, is going down.
Dude, I got a 20-foot shipping container full of outboard motors. Like, I'll never use all them outboards, but I got them.
It's going down the drain. It should be obvious. The United States is weaker now compared to the other nations around the world, our enemies, than we ever have been. And nations are seeing, like China, for example, and the Chinese people, and they're seeing our weakness, and they're seeing the stupidity in our decisions, and they know United States is falling. United States is collapsing from the inside out. The economy, we're losing our hegemony, our control, and they know it. And they're waiting for it to happen. They're watching. And they're watching it go down the tubes. So we've lost that. So the economy, the hegemony, being able to project military power and dominate and inflict and enforce our will on everyone else, that time has ended. That time has ended. And people in the government, some of these people in the government, can't seem to see it yet. Can't seem to realize it yet. Or they know it and just keep lying to us about
Dude,
it.
I probably got 4 or 5 24 horse or 25 horse Johnsons out there, 2 strokes. I know I got fucking, I think 5 Hondas.
And the people here in the United States, a lot of the people will cheer.
4-stroke.
Rah, rah, rah. Go, go, go. Go war. We're the greatest in the world. We wiped out Iran 37 times here in the last 6 months. We've won. Go, go, go. We can beat China. We can beat Russia. We can beat anybody. Well, go, go, go. Because they're completely delusional. You listen to the politicians, listen to the media. So that's gone. Our Constitution. If you look at the Constitution, you look at all the infringements against the Constitution, against what is allowed in the Constitution. Federal, state governments, but especially federal governments, have continuously trampled on the Constitution. They continually trample on our rights and our freedoms and our privacy. And you see all these data centers right now that's being put in place. These data centers being put in place.
Bro, you know what?
Thousands of them.
Oh, shit. What the fuck did I do?
Using pods.
My bad, y'all. But I live way out in the fucking woods.
You're not ugly. You just
and
have high cortisol.
They have
when cortisol
upgraded
stays high, your face
power poles and shit.
floats.
And I
Your
told
stomach-
Amanda, I was like, these motherfuckers are, something's going on. I've lived here for 20 something fucking years, and Like there was nothing really wrong with the power. They're putting in bigger poles. Kind of find out they're putting in a substation out here. Like for what? Because they're fixing to put one of them goddamn data centers by us.
Go, go, go. We can beat China. We can beat Russia. We can beat anybody. Well, go, go, go. We have to compete with China. We have to beat China. Where China has, I think, less than 300 data centers, those mega data centers. The United States already has like, I forgot how many it is now, it's in the thousands, and wants to double, and they want to double that over the next few years. It's obvious what they're doing. They're putting it in a control structure over the people because they want to be able to have total informational awareness through all these data centers. And it's all part of the global Great Reset agenda, all this is. I think China will be at the head. The United States will be down like Mexico, in my opinion. It's what we're going to be. It's what's happening. It's what's going to happen. We'll be Mexico with a bunch of data centers and a bunch of cameras everywhere and a bunch of law enforcement everywhere. In the urban areas, drones flying, watching, monitoring, surveilling. Total control. That is the plan. They want total control over the population, and the population is going to be much more poor and a much lower standard of living. And that is if we don't have complete economic collapse, civil war, you know.
No, I can definitely see that. When these motherfuckers get you down and get their knee on your neck, they're not going to let you up.
States or something doesn't happen that causes a widespread world war, like World War III, that goes nuclear. Now I know some people will say there's no such thing as nuclear weapons. No such thing as nuclear weapons at all. And it could be correct. I don't know. Just like people say the earth is flat. Could be correct. I don't know. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. And nothing would surprise me. The earth might be flat. I don't know. I've not been up there and looked down on it. So I don't know if it is or not. Could be. Could not be. I don't know. And really, they don't know either. And they'll tell you there's no such thing as nuclear weapons. Might not be. However, they do have intercontinental ballistic missiles. And if we did go to World War III, they can hit New York City, they can hit these major cities, urban areas, can hit power production facilities in the United States, nuclear power plants with very powerful
y'all see that
bombs.
they attacked the water some fucking way. I can't remember where it was at, but they were claiming that Iran had hacked the water system and cut the fucking water off.
Might not be nuclear, but they can do a lot of damage, a whole bunch of damage. So there's that. They have submarines, in the case of Russia and China, that could reach the United States stealthily and hit before we even knew they were going to hit. And they could hit with very powerful weapons. Might not be nuclear, might be. They could hit our water treatment facilities, power plants, our critical infrastructure, manufacturing, bridges, major urban areas, very easily. So that is definitely something we don't want. We don't want an actual World War III. And people will say, well, they're all playing in this together. And I think a lot of it's true. However, you also have people that have human desires for power to be at the top, to not be dominated, to be the top dog, the top ruler. So those people are in control of countries. And they all want to be the top dog, or at least a few of these people do. They want to be the top dog around the world, control this new global world order they have planned. So World War III definitely could break out. And it could go nuclear
Here's
or
the truth about
very
it, though, right?
powerful.
If this is what's happening, it's in the Bible. It's God's plan.
Bombs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarines, actual warfighter attacks us here on the homeland. Good possibility. And it could be planned that way. I don't know. But I know right now, there's so many and ifs and buts, so many uncertainties that it's very dangerous right now. I think it's very dangerous right now, and it should be obvious that that's the case. So much going on, so many things going on with the economy, with freedom, with the data centers, with robotics, with cameras everywhere with satellites watching everyone, control grid structure put in place, digital currency, possibility of wars everywhere, natural disasters, weather modification, who knows what they got planned exactly. But you can guarantee that it's not in our best interest. It is about pushing us down, controlling the masses, and making themselves rise up and taking everything. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. And that's why they have all this stuff now that used to be you could buy and it was yours, like automobiles, like refrigerators, like everything has apps. You have to pay monthly or yearly subscriptions to be able to use those services. If you don't pay, you can't use your property that you bought, and they cut you off. So they're putting in these apps and in everything they possibly can. We used to pay a membership or a subscription to be able to use that product you already bought because they want to keep the money coming. They want to own your property. Total control. Total control. And I think personally, where we're going to end up at and where we're going, United States isn't going to be the top dog, the top leader, the hegemony around the world any longer. That's over now. That's done with now. It should be obvious. So that's one thing that's a definite. United States will
I
no
don't
longer
give a fuck
be.
about United States being top dog and the world leader. That part of it don't fucking interest me at all. I honestly have said for years and years and years, we ought to leave people alone that's in these different parts of the fucking world. Like, I could give a shit less.
The empire, the ruler of the world any longer. I think probably China will be, but who knows at this point. I know we have, like Israel, that would like to be and wants to be the center of the world. They think they're right because they're God's chosen. So that's a plan. So you have China, they would like to be in control of everything also, and be at the top. Xi Jinping, because these leaders, these rulers, they all want to be the top dog.
We got his fucking point.
Opiate dependency is a disease.
I know
that
they
can
was
be
going to blow one of them up in
The
Alabama, wasn't they, Kevin? And the only reason that they found it is because they had to do some kind of structural work or something. And they just
For the
happened
next
to
3
stumble
days,
upon it.
we're going to be living deep in the bayous of Louisiana on this 40-foot houseboat. When we sold our house and hit the road 4 years ago, we decided to spend these years making the most epic memories, and that's exactly what we're doing. So while we're on our cross-country road trip in our renovated Class C motorhome from Florida to the tip of Baja, California, we decided to make a pit stop here in Pierre Part, Louisiana, and see if we could survive a few days on the swamp tuna.
Old percolator. I need me one now.
Good morning from a houseboat.
In Louisiana's bayous.
I can't believe that we spent the night here last night.
No, this is definitely one of the coolest adventures, trips that we've gotten to do. I wouldn't even, how did we find this?
I just started thinking, I was like, it would be cool if we could go explore the bayous, but we need a boat, but I want to live on it. And so I didn't think I would find one that you could actually drive around, and then I did.
Like if you like fishing or just being away from literally everything, this is perfect. Like there's nobody around for, I don't know how far we'd have to go. It took us 2 hours to get to this spot, going through like a river to a lake.
Well,
and
here's
then
the
off that
problem
lake
with being
into
the
another
world
little.
fucking police. You piss everybody off because you're not minding your own fucking business. There is no getting in and out of it, and settling something without somebody feeling slighted. And then once you do that, then you've created a fucking enemy.
bayou, I guess is what they really are or something. I'm not sure. I don't know the classifications of all these things, guys.
No doubt.
Sure. Let us know in the comments when we get it wrong, because we're not going to get them all right. But I want to show you this houseboat. It's pretty cool. And like Craig said, we shoved off last night. And so we've already spent a night here on this cool boat. So this is actually the front of the boat where Craig has been driving. You got all your boat driving stuff, the anchor at the front. It's actually been pretty simple to operate, which is pretty cool because like anybody can just come out here and drive the houseboat around. We've got a seating area over here where you just saw us sitting, paddles for the kayaks over there on the side. And we rented this houseboat off VRBO, and it's off of Lake, it's in the bayou areas of Lake Verret. So let's go inside. And yes, we brought the dogs with us, of course. It's basically like a whole studio apartment.
This is Maverick eating Leland's food. That's why he's so much bigger than Leland, if anybody was wondering.
Stop eating Leland's food, Maverick. Anyways, you've got your bed, you've got a whole kitchen, and this place was fully stocked. I was so impressed. Like, we didn't bring all this food. This is all the snacks and the food that they left for us to eat here. It's so cool. Most well-stocked like Airbnb type thing I've ever been to. We are completely off grid. However, we still have running water. There's solar panels up top, battery bank and a closet. We've got a propane stove so that we can cook. I'm about to cook our breakfast this morning. I guess 12-volt fridge ice chest thing for all of our goodies. If you had extra people, you've got this bunk bed here. This is just for all of our stuff, and a full-size bathroom with a shower, tub, a whole full tub. I just realized we could really make use of this. We don't get a tub very often in the RV, and a composting toilet, which I've actually never used before till we got on this boat. So that was an experience, I guess. Hot water from a tankless water heater. And then out back, we have another cool deck here. Nice area to sit.
Somebody
watch
got
the
that thing
sunrise
set
or
up pretty
sunset,
fucking good.
depending on which way you're facing. You've also got your boat motor over here, and this is what is going to take us all around. Hopefully, we don't get lost out here in the swamp and get eaten by a gator.
True. That is true too, Bulldog. But
Now we got to take these little rascals on a walk, which isn't the easiest thing around here. I don't know if you noticed, but it's a lot of swamp and the banks and trees and all that stuff, and getting a 40-something foot boat to the bank is pretty tough.
But we found this little spot.
We got a little spot. We got a little spot. I think we found an alligator's
skeleton,
but it's not over here. Maybe we'll go this way so dogs don't get in it. But there's a whole bunch of teeth.
It looked just like an alligator jaw.
Maverick. Hey, don't mind the flip-flops, guys.
Perfect place to wear flip-flops.
Also, I forgot to pack a hat or anything to like fits my hair with.
Or shirt.
So I'm gonna be in the same shirt and hoodie for the whole trip. Okay, don't judge. It's not like I'm gonna be clean anyway.
Look at this. That's definitely an alligator
sure is.
jaw. That's crazy. And then there's like more pieces of it over there. Yep, this is the other side of its jaw, I think, where it had the teeth in it. Its head.
it unravels that motherfucker.
And its spine. Okay, so there's definitely alligators out here. I mean, if we didn't already know.
As soon as we got here last night, I saw one like just sitting in the water, and he let us get with the houseboat like 4 feet from him before he went under. It was just crazy. Where's all the gators at? I'm looking for them.
Put that dog in the water.
Can't
You'll
find them, bro. So while we're out here on this swampy bayou for the next 3 days, we got, is it 3 days? How about that? We got 3 challenges for 3 days. And real quick, while we're on the matter of just talking about nonsense stuff, 9 out of 8 times Victoria sees a stick in the water, she thinks it's an alligator.
It could be an alligator.
So I just want y'all to know, if she tells you guys that she sees an alligator, just assume it's a stick, okay? Anyways, back to our challenges. We got 3 challenges. We got I got to redeem myself on this fishing thing. Okay, if y'all watched the Alaska trip and saw our halibut fishing, you know that Victoria barely beat me by a lot.
More like blew you out of the water. Literally.
Okay.
Smashed you.
Okay.
On the fishing
Okay.
challenge.
Go home.
I am. This is where I live now.
So I'm going to do some redeeming on that. We also want to make it all the way down over the duration of this trip. We want to make it down from the lake we're at. We'll show you on this map, all the way down to Grassy Lake. And for our third challenge is to do some kayaking, but not just kayaking. We want to try and spot us a gator and then catch it and throw it on Victoria's kayak.
Okay, no, we are going to go
Wouldn't
kayaking.
that be a good challenge?
No, that's not the challenge.
Ah.
We want to go see some wildlife while kayaking, specifically gators from an appropriate distance, because I do not want to get eaten. And if Craig,
I can't listen to that shit no more. Yeah, no doubt, Kevin. Our people has definitely been neglected. Definitely.
So we woke up.
And it's almost like the whole world, we've done it. Oh, shit. We've done it so much that the whole world expect us to do it anymore.
Blue Chews. For
Yeah, that bitch is
ingredients,
getting
works
on
in
my
the body, works in the brain. 15 minutes to kick in, last 30.
I try to watch this dude right here just because he lives on his boat, man. And I know that every time we give him a view, it helps. It may not help a lot, but.
So we woke up. The water has dropped again. And the boat's sitting at a pretty serious angle.
Drop. Hey,
So I got to
drop
get it
it
off
in the
the
back
shore.
chat,
I'm going to do
bro.
that real quick. Basically, you just
Hold on, I'll drop.
loosen the lines, you run the engine back and forth, and it just
It
kind of
makes
slides
it
off
easier
the
for
shore.
me. My Instagram's not
Getting
hooked
a
up to my
boat off of the
computer
shore
for
when
some
you're
reason.
side tied is, to me, I find it easier because you can just move weight to the left and it'll offset. River doesn't like this.
This dude's name's
Fishing
Carl
on this
and his
tuna.
dog's name River. What a fucking combination.
Oh, they can't get through here. I promise you that. Yeah, they turned around. You see how there's no lights on that boat? That's how people in the river drive. I know a lot of people are flipping out. You need your lights, you need your lights. I see that boat perfectly fine. I can hear the boat perfectly fine. But you turn on your navigation lights and you can't see the logs in the water. And it becomes dangerous for you. So most people out here never turn on their navigation lights unless it's like a Friday night and it's really busy. And then they risk hitting a log, but they get seen by the boats. So, but regardless,
pretty
look at how
fucking area,
beautiful this
sure.
is. Yeah, River hates when he sees lights like that. They're trying to find their way in here, which makes no sense because they really should just come in the other way. They're not going to be able to get in. I mean, River and I walk across that. It's an inch deep, 2 inches deep. No. I just don't get it. You can just go the other side of the island and you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't have any trouble. Now they're picking up their motor and trying to. Huh? I mean, who knows? Maybe they're not even fishing and they're just beaching. Maybe that's what they're doing. Who knows? But who cares? This is what we're looking at right now. If I were to let River out of the boat, he would go running up into their boat. He's so mad. Yeah.
I couldn't have that dog on my boat fucking barking like that all the time. That drives me nuts.
They're not getting off. They just got stuck and they're backing up. Maybe they just came this way to try to make so they weren't going by my boat. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? I should probably do a time lapse of the sunrise.
Damn sure fucking beautiful, Doug.
So I loosened the back rope by about a foot, and I just walked up and pushed the boat, and the whole boat, because of the weight of it, wants to slide down the shore. It just slid right off. I didn't even have to start the motor.
No
Didn't even
doubt.
have to start the motor.
No doubt. Because it does seem like America fucking is the one that always confronts it. And then the American people have to foot the bill for it, which puts us farther and farther in debt. Money don't just come from nowhere, for sure.
You know, I've done a couple of shorts about what's public land and what's private land and where boats can park. And it is amazing how many people think that having your boat on the water is illegal. It is. It's unbelievable. You know, there's this overwhelming fear of people who live like me, whether you're in a van or in an RV or in a boat. There's
Are you going to just drop it in the back chat, cover top?
Overwhelming fear of being told you have to leave by a cop or by somebody, that in the middle of the night you're going to get the dreaded knock and someone's going to tell you you have to go. Number one, I've had that happen 4 times, and each time the person was wrong, and I told them they're wrong, and I've stayed there for another week.
Yeah, all you got to do, brother, is go in.
And they were all cops.
Into the
So,
back chat.
I think a lot of
Look
times
at
people
me.
just,
I can see you.
they don't like you there, so they just say, oh, you got to go.
Do
You got to
want to come
go.
up,
And then
or
when
you
you
just
start
want
actually,
to drop it in the back chat? I can't hear you. See where it says private chat? Just paste it over there. And I'll play it. Y'all working, ain't you? Uh-oh. Cop top busy today. That's what's up.
talking laws to them and saying, well, I have proof I came here 7 days ago. I get 7 more days to be here. I have it all on video. So then it starts to be, well, oh, okay, I thought you were here for months. We saw you here a month ago,
I
and
can
we
see
thought
you,
you never
Copper Top.
moved.
I just
and this
can't
and
hear
that,
you
and
until I bring you up on the
whatever.
page.
Biggest thing that I think people should do, video.
If you want me to bring you up, give me the thumbs up. If not, I'll leave you alone. Did you put it back there? Okay. No, you just got ow. That's it. You didn't put it up there. You got to copy and paste it, and then paste it into the private chat.
Tape when you're coming and going. Just at least have it on camera in case it has to come back. I don't think you have to post it. I don't think you need it for any other reason other than to just cover yourself. But
no, when you live on the river like that, you have to move once every 30 days. And you ain't got to move then unless you've been tagged. If they come by and put a sticker on your boat, then you have to move. That's when they start the clock on you.
last night I went on the TVA website. Rule 26A is very clear. It says it in writing. You 14 days, you move a mile, and you're allowed to do, you can be on TVA land or TVA water. Okay. It doesn't matter. And there's no difference.
There's 30 here.
So now, one of the confusing points that came up is this notion of, can you tie your boat to a tree? Can you get off your boat on land? And what I have found in the last 2 weeks of doing research is it's kind of different in different places. It really is. So this place was made to make money off of boating and recreation. It was designed.
Hold on, I'll copy it.
To take over the majority of 4 or 5, almost 5 states. All the parks, all the waterways were purchased by the Army Corps of Engineers and then offered to the TVA to make power. I mean, the whole point of it was to make power for 5 different states, and that's what they're doing. Is they're handling the shipping lanes, they're handling the water levels, they're handling making power, And at the same time, because it's all government land, and most government land is actually used in the process of reserving land for nature, right? Most parks, even deserts, that's where the strict rules come, where they say, we don't want you walking on plants, we don't want you off of the trails. Those aren't privately owned areas. Those are all government owned areas, and they're all public use. Some of them are deemed where you can only use it for certain hours or only use it for certain activities. This island behind me is technically a nature reserve. We are preserving this area for nature, okay? And so that means there are some...
Was you wanting up, or was you just trying to drop it in the back
It
chat?
don't matter. I'm trying to figure it out, man. Hell, I ain't been on it for a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you up on stage. When you're in back chat, I can't hear you though. So what you do, Top, is you just hold down on it, and it'll say copy link, and then copy, and then when you do that, then just go over to the private chat, and then when you get where you would type at, you just hold down, and it'll say paste, and you can paste it over there.
Paste that what I tried to share to you on Instagram.
Yeah, I've actually got it copied. I was fixing to come in and do it myself, but if you want to drop it, it'd be easier for me, because then I ain't got to hear the echoing and shit in the background.
Okay, so if I copy it and then go in the comments, it'll drop it in there.
Go into the private chat. Go in private chat, or otherwise I can't pull it up. If you just drop it in the comments, like for some reason StreamYard won't let you pull it up.
Okay, I'll give it a try, brother. You know me.
You got it, dude. You got it.
I
appreciate you, brother.
I got the app of this thing, but it wouldn't go to that. I couldn't get it to copy. It's harder on a phone. I bet it's easier on a computer.
It might be. What y'all working today?
I just messing around over here at my sister's house, fixing their toilet.
That's what's up. I had to fix a hot water heater for my daughter yesterday. That's what we're for, man.
Yeah. I did a few of them here.
Hey, I went over and hit the reset button, and it started working. She's like, that's all. I was like, hey, if you don't know, you don't know, you know.
Yeah, some people don't know.
You give me a reason to come see you.
Right.
All right.
Let me see if I can do this. I appreciate you, bro.
I'm gonna take you down though.
All right, that's cool.
Some rules, and part of it is sun up to sundown, you're not supposed to be in the woods. Some people talk about this 381 level, sea level, okay? The 381 sea level is about how they mass purchased, how Tennessee's Valley Authority and the Army Corps of Engineers mass purchased the land. They went around and they bought up to sea level 381. Anything below that is theirs, in theory, but that didn't work out perfect because there were people that wouldn't sell. There were people that went to court. There were people who, like indigenous.
Put this on. You have to tell me which one, the healthy version from Thrive, and then which one is like the bad version for you. Which one do you like better?
This one.
The Thrive one's better?
Is that Thrive?
That one's Thrive.
It's a lot cheesier.
It is. It has more flavor to it. Okay, Nick.
Damn it.
If you were an Indian, they couldn't take your property. You know, there's a bunch of different criteria. So when you go up and down these rivers, you still have people that have houses and docks right next to the water. Okay. So some of those people own the land beforehand. Some of those people are leasing it. They have long-term leases. So that land is private, regardless of whether it's above or below 381. This land right here,
I think I got it up top.
If you look on a map, it's actually highlighted as a nature preserve. And then you click on that map and it says what activities are allowed here. They permit hunting. You can come here and kill squirrels. You can kill a deer here. You can kill animals here, provided you get the right kind of permit, right? So if let's say a cop went by here and they saw someone on this land, if it was during the daytime, it's perfectly fine. No one's thinking you're doing something wrong. Now, here's where high water meets 381, okay? I can be on this sandy part that was underwater all summer without even thinking about what the sea level is, because this is considered water. Anywhere above the high water mark, you have to start thinking about what type of property it is. Was it public? Was it private? Is it a park? What things can I do in that park? Hiking, motorbiking,
Nobody cares.
mountain.
Let's see what we got.
Is not only these 5G towers, but now they're actually going to be rolling out 6G
Holy
infrastructure. There'll be many more base stations, so you'll be more saturated. And 6G is actually 5G on steroids. It operates at terahertz frequencies. This has already been shown to be able to induce DNA damage in neural stem cells, as well as genomic instability, as well as cell death, apoptosis in the laboratory.
Wow.
And so this is planned to be basically everywhere, and it will be used for AI brain
This
chips
is what she's
as
talking
well
about right
as,
here. 6G. When the fuck did you find that out? I'm talking to you, Copper Top. I got you back on stage.
Am I back on stage now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way I can talk to you.
Yeah, I just heard that one last night. I follow this channel. He goes through a lot of stuff, you know, goes through all the stuff. Watched it last night. Listen to the stuff that they're getting ready to put out on the people.
Yeah, I heard him. He said it's got a fucking possibility of changing your DNA. I wonder, man, dude, you know what ran through my head when I heard that? COVID.
Oh yeah, well he tells you it's harmful for our cells and everything else. And then the stuff that they put in everybody's body with them shots.
Hey, is that why it was so important for them to change our DNA? I just wonder if that's linked.
Absolutely. Yeah. It goes on to tell you they'll be able to look through the walls and know exactly what you're doing and everything else. Not counting what they're about to do to the new cars. It goes on to tell you that. It ain't a long video, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
No, we'll check it out. You always send good ones. You're one of the ones that always send shit that pique my curiosity.
Yeah, that one got mine.
Through wall surveillance.
Okay, let me play you a soundbite. This is the CEO of Nokia talking about that.
2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual, kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Yeah, Nick, that sounds like mind control, like Bill Gates stuff. Like, yeah, sure, just put a chip in your...
Motherfucker said will be integrated into your body. Fuck that. I want to have the choice where if I don't want to talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's insane the things they're trying. I mean, you know there's going to be a bunch of pushback on this.
Listen,
but it's
now I
crazy.
know you're real good with the Bible. What does it say? What does it say about when humanity becomes too smart?
Well, I mean, I've read a lot of different things in the Bible. I mean, societies, it's been destroyed before. I mean, this planet has. They get to a point, they get smart, technology gets too bad, and it gets all crazy. But
well, God said He's going to end civilization when humans get too smart.
It's just the last time. Yeah, this will be it. This is when Christ did it. That's when the last day started, and when it gets to that point, that's it. It's not going to be a start over like Noah's flood and all that. They ain't gonna start it over again.
No, most definitely not. That's crazy, man.
Sorry, no thank you for me personally. I don't need a cell phone chip in my body.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what's coming. China just approved the world's first commercial brain chip. We have Neuralink coming, and this is going to be pushed heavily on the population and interface with the new 6G
infrastructure. I will say this though. Now, if this can help somebody who is like they broke their spine or something like that, and they don't have functions of their legs, if they can figure out how to be able to control somebody's legs by doing this and give them mobility back, I'd be okay with it for medical purposes, but not just for fucking communicating and shit.
Right, absolutely. But you know they're not going to just use it for just good.
No,
They're going to use it for control and everything else.
bro. That's how they'll send somebody out to do their dirty work because they can fucking fuck with their mind.
Right.
Structure probably resulting in very severe deleterious health effects, as well as merging human consciousness with AI.
It seems like every day artificial intelligence plays a bigger role in all of our lives, and soon it will be required in all new vehicles. News 10's Ben Verbanek explains how a new law might impact one of your biggest personal assets.
Imagine a world where you get in your own car to go for a drive, but before you can start the engine or shift out of park, an artificial intelligence system is scanning your face, analyzing your behaviors, and determining if you're alert enough to drive. It sounds like a far-off science fiction story, but it's not. It's happening soon.
In 2021, the federal government voted through a new safety initiative saying that every new car sold starting in 2027 could be required to monitor the person behind the wheel.
Because you have to convince your community how great these things. You can't fight it. You have to go with it. And you're going to have all that protection, and we're giving you automatic protection, but you're going to make a tremendous amount of money. You're going to reduce taxes, and you're going to have something that if you don't have it, everybody else wants it.
Right now. Dude, that is so fucking crazy. And you know what, man? I keep asking myself, why does Trump not finish Iran? And I almost come to the conclusion that they want gas prices higher. That way they can push more fucking green renewable energy like electric cars and shit like that. That almost makes sense, don't it, man?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I try to put my finger on the agendas of all this stuff because it don't make sense. You know, you're always looking to see what are they doing? But I mean, they got something big planned, and all these countries are fighting for position for whatever new is coming, and it's
almost like the first one to accept it is going to be the most profitable, right? And that's what it seems like to me.
Yes. And they're afraid China's going to get it first, or America's afraid China's going to get it first, or, you know, and they're
talking about, check this out. So they were talking about not letting Iran collect a toll on these ships, charging them $2 million a ship to come through because it was going to jack oil prices up.
We do it. It was over the water. It's all
right. So, but check this out. Those tankers hold 2 million barrels of oil. So you're talking about $1 more added to a barrel of oil, right?
Right.
Gas right now is what's it selling? What's oil selling for right now? Like $100 a barrel?
Yeah. It's summer. Our gas went up. It's like $4.59 right now.
When this shit started out, it was like $65 a barrel, between $60 and $65 a barrel, if memory serves me right. So you're talking about an added fee of $1 a barrel. It's not that big of a deal. Why cause all this shit over $1 a barrel of oil? It doesn't make any sense when you really start breaking it down. $79 a barrel this morning. All right. So how, if they let Iran put $1 a barrel oil tax on every ship that came through the straits, you're not talking about that much money overall. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's something that they're not telling us. It's not just about nuclear.
Iran has more than they're letting on. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Without a doubt.
Well, they controlled the choke point. And I don't know if you remember when the war was first going on, I was like, well, why don't they just fucking pipe this shit? Because you can't stop Iran from just water. They've got land connections where they can get stuff out. They're trucking it out. They're doing whatever. And I even showed a video where they had gas runners. I don't know if you was around that day or not, but they had little pickup trucks and cars just stuffed with fucking barrels of gasoline. It's actually a quite dangerous job.
Pour it in the ground there, where they pour it like in this little cement thing, and it all just goes into there.
Yeah, that's a piped way out. But no, they had runners actually in little raggedy cars and pickup trucks and shit that would haul it out the mountains to different regions. They've
Yeah.
got ways over land to move this shit. You're not just stopping them with a blockade. I mean, a blockade
No.
is a good thing, right? But you'd have to blockade the land and the water. Or
Right.
otherwise you're just pissing in the wind. You might make it more inconvenient for them, but they're still going to get by.
Oh
Shit
yeah.
just it doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can think
No.
of is they're trying to push electric off on people.
There is a machine sitting in a warehouse where a worker is placing a book into it, and the blade comes down, the
seen this
spine is
yesterday.
cut away, the pages race through a scanner, and then the book is not discarded, it's shredded. Not recycled, not damaged in a flood, not lost in a fire. It's destroyed on purpose because now the digital copy is now considered enough. Now imagine this is happening again and again and again, not 100 times, not 1,000 times, millions of times. They want every book on planet Earth to be ingested into the machine. Now that on in and of itself is fine. That's a fine goal. Okay. Not shredded.
Yeah, they're trying to erase this.
Now, Anthropic is one of
Control
the largest
history.
artificial intelligence companies in the world, and they have launched a project called Project Panama. And its goal is simple and ruthless. Acquire every book in the world that you can, scan it, and destroy the original. Why not give them to libraries? Now, this was not an accident. This is not a warehouse mistake. That's the process. They had already been raked over the coals and fined for training on pirated books. So this time they say, we'll buy them legally by the pallet from the wholesalers all over the world. Then the books went into industrial scanners and they were shredded. Now, here's the problem. If you want to do this to new books, fine. You know, there's millions in copies of this book, fine. But Anthropic knew exactly how you would feel about this. So they issued a private, confidential internal memo and told the employees to keep this whole operation secret. Quote, we don't want it to be known what we're working on right now.
By scanning your face, eyes, and tracking your behavior, new cars could determine if you are a risk to drive and stop you from starting the car. The goal is to cut down on drunk driving and improve road safety, but some people have concerns.
Have you ever had a conversation with artificial intelligence? Have you ever gone into the help button on anything from your cellular telephone to your insurance provider and tried to ask it a question? AI, even in the most well-meaning circumstances, screws just about everything up.
Proponents for the new law say that the systems will be vetted and calibrated correctly. I reached out to federal lawmakers for comment, but did not hear back. Kendall says this also leads to privacy concerns.
This is why, Ben, I have a car, and this is no joke. You know this. It has no power locks. It has no power windows. It reports to no one. It barely has a terrestrial radio. I'm not trying to evade anyone, but I don't want the government knowing anything about me.
Local car dealer David Fusen of Fusen Automotive tells me that AI is already in some cars with self-driving auto cruise features.
It does watch your eyes. If they're closed, it vibrates your seat. It's watching. And if you look away, it lets you look and enjoy, but it wants your eyes on the road. And it will disable Super Cruise if you do it too many times.
Fusen tells me he has not heard anything from car suppliers about this, indicating that they might end up lobbying the federal government to change the law before it takes effect.
Not as quick as 2027. I think we're farther out than 2027. But Super Cruise is becoming more advanced, more safe, and it just, that will take time.
Like it or not, AI is here, and it's not going anywhere. And now, if your car doesn't think you're alert enough to drive, neither are you.
So even just in saying those words, I'm thinking, well, I mean, could it track if someone is perhaps maybe, going to sleep behind the wheel and help out? Could it track if someone is possibly under the influence behind the wheel and therefore help out and save a life. But then also the privacy. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Sure. At first pass, it makes a lot of sense, right? Hey, we save some lives. People who are intoxicated should not drive a vehicle. It's a great story as a top line headline. The risk is the privacy side. The law that passed was Section 24.
What happens if somebody's life depends on having to be able to drive right then, and the fucking car won't start because their nervous system is out of whack because they're scared to death or something like that.
20 of the Infrastructure Investment
And they're going to use that data to all that data is going to go, to the insurance companies. And then it's already knows, like, if you went left to center or crossed the yellow line, it's following all that stuff. And these insurance companies are going to get all that data and say, well, we got to raise your rate because you wasn't paying attention 10 times this month, or you went left to center 4 times this month. And they'll raise, they'll raise your,
They wanted you to plug it in your OBDA or whatever, however you call it, plug underneath the dash of your car to lower your insurance rates.
Yeah.
Same thing. Just a better
Old
version.
cars are going to be worth a fortune. You know what? People are going to pay high prices to have cars that don't have that on there if they roll that out like that.
I got a yard full of S10s.
Hey, they'll be buying them, buddy. You'll be getting top dollar for them.
I won't sell them. Shit, I got to have my shit to start. Fuck, I'm
right.
Going back a number of years, the governing
body
body
in to buy an electric car this last time when we bought that other one. I kind of wish we would. My daughter and them bought a hybrid, and they loved the thing. It'll run 30 miles on the battery. It won't go far, but it'll run 30 miles on the battery before the motor takes over. And they told me they probably put $20 a month in the damn thing because they live, close to town, so they can go uptown and come back. No big. I was like, shit, I wish.
Yeah, them hybrids ain't bad.
Highway safety and vehicle safety is the NHTSA. They were supposed to put rules in place based on this law of how cars monitor drivers. They were supposed to do that a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago. They missed the deadline. They're actively trying to get these rules put in place. But the risk is the technology, right? They're saying they need to have infrared cameras in the A-frame and the corners of your vehicle. They need to track your eye movements, your pupil dilation, your head movements, behavioral signals. This technology exists today, especially on General Motors vehicles, for example. It'll warn you if it thinks you're getting drowsy, if you're driving late and hitting lines, or starting to look like you're nodding off, or playing on a cell phone while driving. The modern cars oftentimes will detect that and alert the driver. The problem is that for anybody who has a modern car like that, they're not very accurate. And the number of times I've been driving perfectly safe in the middle of the afternoon and getting you want to stop for a coffee break notice on my car, it's not there yet. And the law requires a 99.9% accuracy because it's coupled with some pretty serious impacts where you can't drive the car. It won't let you start the car, or it could limit your speeds in some cases. So having a machine monitor you as a human and decide what you can and cannot do with the vehicle while stopping drunk drivers sounds great. That's, in my opinion, a massive violation of privacy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe having it installed after someone has gotten a DUI.
Shit, keep it, Stargazer.
But just every car being retrofitted with this, kind of seems like a bit much right now.
Well, he's proud of that.
But maybe
maybe
we're just not there yet. Maybe we're just not there yet. Who knows how we'll be feeling? I mean, says 2027. That's not far away, but I don't know. It's a pretty drastic leap.
Usually when the NHTSA issues rules for automakers, they give 2 to 3 years heads up. So the original launch date was 2027. It's possible, but it's more likely it's going to get pushed back a year or two. That said, it is coming. The law was signed. It was passed. February of this year, Trump funded it, which means there's no other off ramps unless they overturn it somehow. It's an actual signed law, which is terrifying. And it's not just the privacy side. It goes beyond your vehicle because the data doesn't stay in your car. When they're tracking your head,
they're not going to give you insurance on your fucking car unless it's got that shit on there. You watch and see. That's how they're going to phase out the older cars. You're not going to be able to get them insured. They're not going to be worth a fucking dime.
In motion, they're tracking your awakeness, your alertness.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make it where you can't get them legal. Do you remember the old Cash for Heaps or whatever it was when they were trying to buy all the gas guzzlers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that was. That was to cut down on the fuel consumption. So they'll have something in place like that where you can't.
They'll do something like that again to get rid of the cars that don't have that stuff on it, or force it, like you said, to get it on there.
Yeah, it won't be legal. You won't be able to get it insured, I bet.
Your suspected sobriety. That data gets sent up to the automaker, and their servers, their cloud tracks that on a driver level and an owner level who owns the car. And there's historical precedent where automakers sell that data to data brokers like LexisNexis, who then historically built a driver safety model that was sold to insurance companies. They're trying to make it fuzzy and de-identify it is the word. But at the end of the day, it gets back to your insurance companies, and they can adjust your personal rates based on your car spying on you. And I know some insurance companies have that as an opt-in to let your car track you and report back. I think Allstate does that. But this is not an optional thing. This is every new car would automatically report it. And that's just the insurance implications. Then you think about police, you think about other government organizations who buy from these data brokers. You lose control of a pretty private moment when you're driving your car by yourself. And there's nothing in the law that restricts where the data can go and who they can sell it to.
This is something that I have been warning about for a long time. I don't know if you'll remember, but I have said it over and over again. Buy paper copies of books. Buy the paper copies of books. A book is more than ink and paper. A book is a witness. Once it's printed, it can't quietly change overnight. Nobody can sneak into your library at night and rewrite page 247. Nobody can update chapter 5 while you're asleep. The printed book stays exactly the way, and what it said the day it left the press will always be that way forever. A digital file is different. Now, I'm not claiming Anthropic is secretly changing books. I'm saying something more simple and much more dangerous. Without the original, there is nothing left to check against the file.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. They want to control what we believe.
Bro, they want to change the facts of history.
Yes, that's exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, they've already been caught doing it.
Right.
They've already been caught fucking doing it, man. Hold on, I'm wanting to this one right here. Pull this one up.
Have other discounts like state discounts.
I'll pass forward, pass here.
Happened. There were other people in the courtroom. Here's what they said they saw. I'm like, can we even get any modicum of like truth here from fucking anybody at this point? It's just wild to me that people would be that brazen to do that.
It's not though. If you're trying to plant the narrative, you have to have co-conspirators planning that narrative for you. It's interesting to me that Erica chose to take to court with her. She was given, 10 seats, 15 seats, whatever. She could have taken family. She could have taken friends. She took social media influencers. She took Brandon Tatum and Jack Posobiec and Graham Allen and Like that's how they got in. They didn't.
She brought them.
Yeah, they didn't have to camp out overnight.
Kevin, I thought about a motorcycle myself, to be honest with you. Me and Mama was talking about that the other day. Hey, I'll take a glass of Coke, though. RC. Shit in here.
You know what, Uncle? I got to be somewhere here in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and drop off, and I'll just be listening, brother.
I appreciate you coming up, Copper Top.
Yeah.
Have a good day, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's getting easier every time you offer me to go up. It only took me 3 tries this time.
We appreciate you, brother. Have a good day. Okay?
All right. You too, bye.
That's a good old dude right there. He reminds me of me, but just a Yankee. That's all. He's just he's a northern country boy.
Everyone else in that courtroom was either media, had an allotted media slot, a member of Tyler Robinson's family, or had one of their slots, a member of Erica's family, or had one of her slots, or
funny, like how many people actually kind of believe the same thing, no matter what your demographic is, where you live at, you kind of see the same thing going on in society. It's almost it almost makes you wonder what the fuck and where we went wrong, right? Because so many people see what's going on.
They had to camp out overnight. Jack Posobiec wasn't camping out overnight. He showed up in a Ferrari.
Drives a Ferrari. Pays well, I guess. Be a spokesman.
Well, I mean,
like that.
you might be able to make a living being a paid hack. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never tried it.
Here's the difference, though. In 1964, 65, in the years after JFK, TV was brand new. There was no internet. The government just saying, shut the fuck up. This is what happened. There was a lot more of an opportunity to do that. Now, with the power of people having one of these in their hands at all times just to capture everything, the idea that you could walk out of that courtroom and not think that there's going to be a million people, fucking a lot more than that as would turn out, refuting what you said based on other people who were in there who can have the same power to come out there and say what they saw. That's where I'm like, it feels like the Truman Show a little bit.
Yeah, I think they feel like they have so much money and power behind them that they can just roll over and crush the little guy, crush the little guy's voice. So, you know, Brandy Webb, Billy Siciliani, they were both in there. Those were 2 of the girls that came out and said, we just saw a blob. You know, it could have been Bigfoot. It could have been a blob. It could have been a fat Chinese guy. It could have been Tyler Robinson. We just don't know. You can't tell. But they don't have millions and millions of influencers. They don't, I mean, millions and millions of followers. They don't have millions and millions of dollars behind them. What TPUSA has behind it is basically the full weight of the federal government right now. They are just they've become another wing of the government, just like Heritage Foundation is. They're just another Heritage Foundation. They're Heritage Foundation 2.0. And Charlie Kirk had a mission. It was to take economic libertarianism to college students. Charlie's gone, and that mission is completely gone.
It's gone.
It's completely gone. All they're doing now is taking whatever mainstream, mainline Republican talking points exist, and they're just pushing it out to the boomer class that's watching Fox News. That's all they're doing. And the question is, why do they even exist? What's the point of an organization that's doing that? We have organizations that do that. We have Fox News. We have Heritage Foundation. Why do we need TPUSA to do the same thing?
They're draining the last little bit of money they can get. And when they start going into the red, that's when you're going to see them disappear.
Right. When you talk about them being a wing of the federal government, I think you make a good point. There's a lot of these kind of think tank type places that'll be attached at the hip to the government over time. And now in recent years, we're able to actually see that. But what about all the people in government, within the federal government, who are like from the left side of the aisle and don't like this current administration and would have every reason to try to subvert it? Why don't they subvert TPUSA, for example, more, given the fact that they don't really have any leg to stand on anymore?
I think you're falling into the trap of thinking there's 2 teams, and I don't think there is. It's a uniparty system. There's a very narrow band of accepted thought, and as long as you're in that band, they're going to let you say whatever you want. You can't get over here, and you can't get over here. But as long as you're in here, we'll play like there's two teams in here. We'll let you put on different jerseys. We'll let you go out and play games. We'll let you argue over abortion. We'll let you argue over tax cuts. You know, do you want to give a 2% tax cut to millionaires or a 1% tax cut to millionaires? That's your call.
I don't know.
And you guys can get really down and dirty, and you can call each other names, but don't get out here into the populist wings of the left or right. Stay out of that. And that's why, because they're on the same team. They're all on the same team.
Low testosterone's coming for all men. Testosterone levels have been dropping 1% per year since the 80s.
I think you're right about that. I do agree. But I got to ask because, you know, they're obviously an organization that was like associated with one candidate getting in there. And I think to add to your point there as well, we've seen that with like Trump coming in, he campaigned on X, Y, and Z and has done A, B, and C instead. And it's kind of proven. It's like if anyone was going to be kind of an outsider, even though he was a billionaire, it was like, all right, that's the guy. And now he's surrounded by people that seem to be prototypical, like swamp creatures.
And it's his fault. I mean, it's his fault. He had 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
The first term he came in, he basically staffed his entire administration with people who despised him, who hated him, who were on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of his populist rhetoric was for naught. He wasn't able to implement any of it, if he even wanted to. Then he gets beaten down, kicked out. Joe Biden comes in, reverses everything he stood for, everything he tried to accomplish. And then Trump runs again. And I was very skeptical of Trump running again. Opposed him initially. Finally got.
Why were you skeptical?
Because he didn't do anything the first time.
Mm.
You know, there was no border closure like he promised. There was no turning the government back over to the people like he promised. If you go back and listen to his original inauguration speech, if he would have accomplished that, I would have been the biggest supporter of Trump term 2 there was. Though. But he didn't accomplish any of it. Instead, he put people, like I said, in the intelligence.
Yeah, see, you can't blame the man for that though, because he can't do but so much, right? He does what he's allowed to fucking do. We all know that.
Communities that hate his guts. He put people in the Defense Department that hate his guts. He put people in his own White House, the chief of staff, that hates his guts. And then he turns around and says, the whole system, I can't get anything done. Well, yeah, you put these people in here who are causing you to not be able to get anything done. And so I figured he would do the same thing in the second term. I had no idea he was going to do what he's done so far. What he's done in Trump 2.0, this second term, is the biggest betrayal of campaign promises probably in American history. I can't think of a single president who has done more to betray the people who voted for him, who put their names on the line for him, who hosted him on their programs, who campaigned for him, than Donald Trump in this term. I can't think of one.
I think you're right about that. We've been saying it's like opposite day every day with the things he'll say. I mean, even some of the lines about the war, like, no, I don't think about the average American at all. I just need Iran to not have a nuke. I mean, roll the tape from like October 2024. He's literally saying, like, you can just reverse that line, like the Eyes Wide Shut song. Like, that's what he's saying. And yet he went in and did this stuff. And you wonder, because it's a good point. He surrounded himself with a lot of the wrong people in term 1. Then he goes on Joe Rogan right before the election, and that was something he actually admitted to. He usually doesn't like admit to any fucking weaknesses, but he's like, I think I hired some of the wrong people.
Thinks he's over at then PBR's chat. Nobody wants to know about no bank shots, bro.
Comes in and does it again and lets them move his red line on everything. There has to be something else there to me. It could be a litany of things, but there has to be something else there.
Well, he took a lot of money from people who have policy preferences that are in direct opposition to what he campaigned on.
That's true.
And so that never helps you accomplish your mission. But no, he went out and hired a bunch of flawed individuals. And I'm not sure how to get around this problem. You know, if you're president, I'm not sure how to get around this problem, because you got to survive the Senate confirmation process in order to get some of these really high-end appointments.
Mm.
And the Senate confirmation process is not going to be kind to someone they can't control. And, you know, you look at, you know, the intelligence committees, a lot of those people are not going to be kind to having an appointment from somebody who truly is independent and actually cares about the average American. They're just not going to be. So they're not going to approve that person. I think you see it right now. I hate to mention particular. Actually, I'm not going to. I think you see it right now with some appointments that Trump has wanted to make that have really been pushed back hard on, because people in the Senate look and say, we can't control this guy. There's no way we're going to let this guy. So Trump immediately abandons it and then goes to one of their people. And those people are working against him, or they're working against us. They're working against us, and they're working against his campaign promise to work for us.
Yeah, I think an example of one of the people that obviously got a lot of pushback back at the beginning was RFK. And I kind of wondered like how that did end up getting through, because there was so much opposition. But then you see him come in and it becomes like a very one-dimensional focus, which I appreciate you looking at food. I'll take something over nothing. I do want to say that. But like, he was going to look at a lot of different things, and now he's not. So it's like you kind of box in. You're like, here's a great white shark, but he's in a little container. He can't swim in the ocean.
Yeah, he's not really been able to go after vaccines. He's not really been able to go after food dyes and food colorings. He's not been able to go after anything. I mean, he is totally boxed in. And he started abandoning that in the confirmation process. So you knew right then, whoever was shepherding him through the process was saying, look, you're not going to get in if you say what you really believe. You're just not going to make it. And so even during the confirmation process, there was a conversation people were having, like, you think he's really changed his mind on all this stuff? Is he just saying this, but he'll get in and actually do the right thing? No, he's not. And I think he's probably a generally decent person. And he really believes the things he's been saying for the last 2-3 decades. But you just can't play the game and keep your job.
Obviously, something like this is not fixed overnight by any stretch. It's kind of a generational thing where we've built up so much decay in the system that has allowed us to get to this point where 90-year-old people can hold office for 60 years and fucking keep getting paid by the same people. But if you could wave a magic wand and fix it over a 20, 30, 40-year period, how would you do that? Like the money in the system and how candidates could actually then do what they campaign to do. That's how I should ask it.
So I've never been asked that question. I think it starts with the judicial branch. I might be biased that way, being a lawyer. But the Supreme Court is beholden to the same factors I was just telling you about with other presidential appointees. The difference is they have a lifetime appointment. So there's a little less pressure after they get through the system. They can kind of change if they want to. But in order to survive and get on the Supreme Court, for example, you have to go through the Senate confirmation process. If you walked up there and you said, I believe Article 1, Section 8 is too broadly interpreted, it's the Commerce Clause. I think the Dormant Commerce Clause is a joke. Both of these doctrines need to be completely reversed. We need to take the Constitution back to the bare bones of what it was originally intended to do.
Check this out. This is how I can afford this Jeep Wrangler.
I
was
agree
paying
with that.
$243 for my brand new Jeep for insurance coverage. See the breakdown right here. And now,
excuse me. You wouldn't survive the appointment process. And so I think we maybe need to radically reinterpret what advice and consent means from the Senate in order to allow the president that we elect to have freer reign to put the right people in those positions. The president wins. He's the one who campaigns. He's the one who goes to, in theory, all 50 states. He's the one who makes all the campaign promises. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then the Senate really gets to decide which of those we're even going to entertain, which of those we're even going to allow to be, again, within that little window we're allowed to play in. If we want to broaden that window, it has to start with the court system. We tell our kindergartners and our fifth graders that we have 3 branches of government and they're equal and they hold each other accountable. We don't. We have a tyrannical judicial system that can override anything that the Congress and the president do. They can throw out any law they want for any reason. They can make up stuff on the fly. They can add laws that don't exist. And there's nothing the Congress or the president can do about it. They're just completely beholden to the system. And so I think it starts there. But that the fix to Congress, I think, also could fix the appointments, because if you could, I mean, the fix to the Supreme Court also could fix the.
I want to shit about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I never had notes in front of me because I had a strong enough map. but I was willing to accept he was set up to do it.
Set up to
like he was not brainwashed, but pushed, radicalized, nudged. You know, we got to do something. He's coming on campus. You know, this is our chance. You're the guy. You got the gun. You know how to shoot. That kind of thing. I kind of always I associated Lance Twiggs with a setup from the beginning, and I associated Lance Twiggs with a kind of an asset aspect from the beginning. And so it was easy for me to see kind of that 2 steps to Tyler Robinson. It wasn't until I sort of got fascinated with watching people try to recreate the shot, a 30-06 shot, and they were shooting absolutely everything. And, you know, Green Beret podcasters and sniper podcasters saying this is not a 30-06. It had to hit body armor. It had to have hit something else. It had to be a lower caliber round. It had to come from a different direction. There's no way a 30-06 from that direction did this damage. It's impossible. And that's sort of what led me to, well, maybe there was something else. Maybe there was another person. Maybe it was Chris Martinson had that theory that he was shot with a lower caliber round from a different angle. And so I sort of ran down that rabbit hole for a while.
Did Chris have have someone in the crowd that he could point to on that, or was he just basing it off what he could see ballistically?
No, he didn't. I don't think he ever pointed anyone in the crowd. I think he was thinking Sorensen center roof. Okay. Because that's the right angle to do the damage that was claimed.
So that's a different roof than the one that Tyler was allegedly on?
Yeah, so the Losi Center is pretty straight ahead. You know, maybe offset a degree or two. I think it was 9 degrees offset. The Losi Center roof is kind of to Charlie's, I don't know, 10 o'clock. Or no, not 10 o'clock. What is that? Whatever that is over there. Yeah, 10 o'clock. And that would be more of an angle because remember Andrew Colvett came out with that tweet allegedly quoting the doctor saying that his...
Can we pull that tweet up, Dave? I love that one. Oh
his God. C1 through C6 were impacted.
It's a miracle.
And so Martinson, I think, is trying to reconcile damage to the vertebrae with angle of a gun, the angle a gun would have had to come from in order to do that damage. And so he was sort of leaning towards the Losi Center. I was still thinking gunshot at the time. I mean, this was late September, early October, but I was sort of on the gunshot train, but not a 30-06 from the Losi Center again, because all the ballistic experts, they were shooting thousands of things. I mean, they were shooting steel plates and cast iron skillets and stop signs, and they were shooting ham bones and ham hocks and necks and pigs and cows. And I mean, they were shooting everything, and it was just blowing right through everything. And they were shooting it from 142 yards, and it would just blow through everything. And it would blow through the concrete block after it blew through everything. And so it never made sense to me that a bullet could arrive from the Losi Center at that angle, a 30-06 round, with that much energy and stop in his neck within 3 inches?
Right. And Deep just pulled up the tweet. This was from, I believe, September 20th, 2025, 10 days after the one you referenced with Andrew Colvett.
Here's the thing, though.
And when I did the podcast with Joseph Scott Morgan,
I haven't heard anybody talk about. If that was a fucking hand-packed round, it could have had less gunpowder in it. And if that's the case, it could be. But I mean, I don't know. You'd have to get somebody who could take and load them rounds herself to recreate it.
Read this one out too, because even if somehow this were true, and to be clear, I don't believe this, it's like the fact that he wrote this whole thing out, presumably read it back to himself because the grammar looks good, so it seems like he edited it. And I don't know if he did the old rule my mom used to say, which is count to 5 before you press send. But the fact that he pressed send on this in a nation that was once told that a magic bullet went through fucking 40 different regions to somehow kill the president of the United States and thought this was not going to be taken the wrong way blows my mind from a just intellectual discourse level. But just to read it for people that have context so you understand what we were referring to, this was Andrew Colvett on September 20th, 2025. He says, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into the most of this kind most of this kind of online chatter. And I apologize, this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle. And I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. It's interesting from a HIPAA standpoint, but that's neither here nor there. He said the bullet, quote, absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc., unquote. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent. And he replied, quote, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get hit, unquote. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too, unquote. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous.
Well, and I agree with him. It would have taken a miracle. Like he even admits, again, taking this at face value, which I don't take anything he says at face value. But if you take that at face value, the surgeon comes right out and says, hey, this doesn't happen. This a 30-06 doesn't stop in that little bit of soft tissue in the neck. It just doesn't happen. That's not a thing that happens. It's a miracle that it did. And so even that, you look at that and you say, okay, it wasn't a 30-06 to the neck. It couldn't have been. It would have gone through.
Would it matter? So what was the gun used here again? A Mauser? Is that right?
Yeah.
So when you're seeing all these different demonstrations from berets and snipers and stuff like that who are doing this, like qualified guys who are doing it online, were you seeing it with people using all different kinds of guns, including the gun or a similar one that was used here?
Yeah, they were using everything down to 223 up to 30-06, and nobody knew at the time. Was it a frangible round? Was it 150, 170 grain? Was it 180 grain? Nobody knew what it was, but they were committed to the 30-06 narrative, and it doesn't matter what you put in a 30-06, it's going through. I mean, Jesse on Fire and Heavy Duty Country did a demo with frangible rounds. These are frangible rounds from like the 1940s.
Can you explain that to people who don't understand guns and bullets out there?
Yeah, so a regular Full Metal Jacket round is designed not to break up. It's supposed to go through. A frangible round is designed to break up. It's supposed to hit something hard and stop. It stops redirection. It stops people, innocent bystanders from getting hit. And so it's it'll turn kind of to dust if it hits the right density of an object. But
can it like mushroom too? And like
so that you're thinking of kind of a soft point that will sort of mushroom when it hits.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
What's
but
up, Kyle?
No, I mean, a frangible round typically is not going to mushroom.
Okay.
Full Metal Jacket can have a little mushrooming, but it's not designed really to do that. But yeah, I mean, it didn't matter what they threw at it. Anything they fired went through much thicker things than a neck, much denser bone than vertebrae. And so, instantly I began to doubt that narrative. And I'm thinking, okay, if it wasn't a 30-06 and it wasn't from the Losi Center, where did it come from? It had to be a gunshot, right? Where did this gunshot come from? And so I sort of ran down that rabbit hole for a while before you realize that rabbit hole doesn't hold much weight either. Because even a lot of the lower caliber rounds are going to pass right through that. I mean, it's just a neck is not that much tissue. It's soft,
As you're thinking about this at this point, where's your head going with what this was? Did you have any idea of, like, in your opinion, what this could be or who might be behind it or things like that? Or was it too early?
No, it wasn't too early at all, because again, the Lance Twiggs component made me think there might be some sort of government aspect to it. I couldn't at the time think of why the government would want to kill Charlie Kirk. That didn't make sense to me. He'd been a huge friend of the president, rightly or wrongly credited with getting the president reelected. He was friends with the president's son. He was, business partners with the president's son. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if this is a government operation, it has to be rogue. It has to be something that is operating below the office of the president, but at a high enough level that you could actually pull this off. You're not going to get like a bunch of E5s out there like, let's kill Charlie Kirk,
Right.
and run and do something. So, that's sort of where my mind was this was probably a domestic military operation, but below the office of the president.
Did you have a motive in mind, or like a reason they would want Charlie Kirk gone?
The Iran war.
That was why.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. He was pretty adamant, and a lot of the clips were starting to get replayed. The clip from the PBD podcast back in 2023.
I remember that when it came out.
Yeah, that was pretty devastating.
That was like, I would cite that to people at the time. I'm like, Charlie Kirk was saying this. I'm like, this is the most fucking, pro-Israel kind of dude ever, saying this like 5 days after October 7th, where he was talking about I've been to that Gaza border. I don't know how.
It wasn't only that, though. He seemed to have insider knowledge of the plan, looking back, because he said, I don't even want to use the word. He said, okay, I'll use
Ethnic cleansing.
They're going to ethnically cleanse it, And at the time I thought, how can you ethnically cleanse Gaza? That's crazy. You'd have to either kill everyone or relocate her. That doesn't even make sense. But looking back, you go, oh, maybe he did know something. And maybe that knowledge, as he continued to turn and push harder on that subject, maybe that knowledge is what got him killed.
At the time, and this is a way different world then, but I remember watching that at the time. And when he did the and looked up to the sky like this, I was like, I wasn't even going where you just were with like, oh, maybe he knew something about it. But I was going, what is the weight behind that?
Yeah.
The weight of him just giving an opinion on this, saying, hey, I'm just throwing this out there. Don't shoot the messenger, but maybe it could be this. Like, you could tell he was like, am I really gonna fucking say this? Did I take enough Adderall today to say this? And then he did.
Well, he looked up. He was recalling a conversation. In my opinion, he was recalling a conversation. He was looking up like, what words did he use? Okay, used ethnically cleansing. That's how I took it. And then they tried in vain for 2 years to get him back on the team, and weren't successful.
Here's the thing, though. He, from what I could see, and I'm just seeing social clips at the time. I can't say I'm like the closest person watching Charlie Kirk while he's doing this, but I would see clips pop up of him doing things, not even on college campuses, but at conferences and stuff like that. I'm talking in 24, 25, where the Israel topic would come up and he would vociferously defend it. And we now can see from some text and stuff behind the scenes and conversations that were happening in what I've seen, especially until those recent texts that Candace put out, which I think is something we got to come back to. But July 2025, August 2025, the Hamptons meeting, when he did the thing with Dave Smith, and Dave Smith talks about what they talked about off stage before that debate at the end of July 2025. That's where you could start to see him at least saying some things out loud on his show when you look at clips. But before then, after the PBD thing, what he thought privately is one thing, but everything he still did publicly, to me, was very much still defending the shield here.
Yeah, until August. That's when he started dropping the mask a little bit. The Megyn Kelly interview, I think it was August 6th.
Yep. 2 days after the Hamptons thing.
Yeah. He that was the first time I recall him publicly dropping the mask after that PBD interview. And, so in my mind, going back, you were asking me where I was in September, October. It wasn't an international operation, but I thought it probably had international okay.
If someone is only making minimum payments on their credit cards every month, here are 3 things their credit card companies do not want them to know. Number 1, at 24% APR, almost everything they pay goes straight to
water all summer without even thinking about what the
challenge is to do some kayaking, but not just kayaking. We want to try and spot us a gator.
That was the first time I recall him publicly dropping the mask after that PBD interview. And, so in my mind, going back, you were asking me where I was in September, October. It wasn't an international operation, but I thought it probably had international okay. because of the searches that originated from overseas.
And you were thinking, it's interesting though that early you were already thinking the Iran war, because again, the narrative, huge air quotes there, but the narrative at the time was, oh, we did that 12-day thing, we came in and bombed Florida, the nuclear. Now you and I know this is like bullshit, but the nuclear stuff's gone, so we've stepped out and we're not going to war. And so in my head, I was like, yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. But at the same time, I will admit, I still wasn't thinking, like from that point, June 2025, I wasn't thinking sometime in the next 12 months, we're going to seriously be looking at boots on the ground, like as a real plan in Iran. And then that became like within 9 months, conveniently after Charlie's dead, they were already talking about it. Like, okay, we're starting a war now, and maybe we're going to put boots on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, but you knew, I knew, everybody in the lead up to the 12-day war, we all kind of had the same thought, or a lot of us on our side of that issue had the same thought, which was this is going to spiral out of control into World War III. You know, the Iranians are proud people. They're not just going to let people come in and bomb them and go, oh, okay, well, we're sorry, guys. Sorry about that. It had the potential and the capacity to get very ugly very quickly. And Charlie coming out talking about it in the way he did, it just, that's a problem. If you're going to go forward, that's a problem you have to deal with. You can't just leave that loose end hanging out there.
Why not deal with it earlier, though, if they knew that was already a thing he was thinking behind the scenes? The reason I ask that is because by the time, if it is alleged like they did deal with it, in September 2025, respectfully, the horse has left the barn. You look at people below 55 in this country, left, right, it's a very unifying issue. Like, what the fuck was he even going to do about it at that point? He was getting killed by his own people.
Well, we don't know that they didn't try. So, you know, the fact that something happened on September 10th doesn't mean that there wasn't a very similar operation in place in April, in December, the year before that. Like, you can't say definitively this was the only time that they tried. And had they gone on September 10th and something went wrong and they called off the operation, you and I would not be sitting here talking about it. Maybe they would have done it September 29th or October 5th. You know, we don't know that this was the only time that he walked into a death circle and there was a plan to take him out. It could have been, but like, what if it had rained that day?
Right.
You know, if the plan is to take him out, you're not going to let a rain shower ruin it. You're going to just, okay, here's our backup plan. Here's the next place we're doing it. You know, it's not lost on me that all of his first events were like in Colorado and Utah. They're all right there together. So
how, prior to September 10th, when he was going back out on this tour publicly at colleges, you know, in the year before that, how good and deep, you know, by manpower was his security team everywhere he went? How much do we know about that?
I want to say Brian Harpole said they typically carried 6 with them. And that was on the Sean Ryan show. And I don't quote me on that, because maybe he said 5 or 7, but I want to say it was 6. Because I remember the impression it left with me after that show was that they had doubled his security for that day. And I think he said they had 12 or 13 people on the ground that day. And so that would be, I think, fairly average for him.
Now, obviously, you know, he's not a president, so it's not a Secret Service team. It doesn't have, even if it's a deep security team, it doesn't have that kind of resources. But, you know, from what you've been able to gather in the past, was there a protocol with any of his security teams when he would go do public events outdoors that were near roofs, where they would scan some roofs and see if there were any security limitations on those?
I have no idea.
Okay. That'd be interesting to know if they'd ever done that.
I think it crossed their mind, because multiple of them in the aftermath have commented on the fact that when he walked in, they looked up and saw the roofs and it made them uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that was the first time it had dawned on anybody.
What's that?
That roofs, particularly in light of what happened in Butler the July before. I can't imagine that's the first time it had ever dawned on anybody. Roofs are a major vulnerability.
Sure. Yeah. I would, especially after Butler, you would think you'd be thinking that fucking everywhere. This is over a year after that. The other thing that was weird right from the jump to me, I talked with you about this on the phone, but I'll never forget so he died on a Wednesday, and then Friday morning, like we said, that was when they said Tyler Robinson had been arrested. And then I had a wedding to go to on Saturday. That was like 6 hours away. So I was going to get up early and drive there. So Friday night, I'm sitting in here, I'm working, and I see something on Twitter that his wife, Erica, is going to come out and give a statement. So I'm like, okay. So I pull up the live stream on YouTube, and I just remember seeing her walk in, and the only thing I felt was guilt, because right away, that thing in my gut that goes, what the fuck? Something ain't right here. This ain't real. I've never had that thought in a situation like this before. It was blinking on a 12.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this and I'm like, and I'm going to Twitter and everyone's like praising her. There's like a mass like campaign of people being like, oh my God, bravest woman ever, yada, yada, yada. And I remember shutting the computer afterwards and like just being quiet. And I'm like, that's an impure thought. It's so mean. This is a grieving widow. Don't think that. But then I'm driving to the wedding the next day and I'm thinking about it in the car. I could not get it out of my head. And so Sunday morning, driving back from the wedding, back up here, I call up my buddy Danny Jones. And it was like the two of us were like coming out of the closet. Cause I'm like, hey man, we talk like every day.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, you watched that thing the other night? What thing? Oh, the thing with the what? I'm like, yeah.
The gold is real, but so is the danger.
Come on, baby.
What do you think? And he's like, bro, it was so weird. I'm like, oh my God, it was so weird to me too. Oh my God, I felt like I couldn't tell anyone about this. He's like, dude, something's off. And he's like, even my wife said it. And women pick up on that shit real good. They know that shit. And we were just talking about it. And I'm like, what is that? And, still the narrative was you'd go on social media and most people were like, oh, she's so brave. And then you get the WWE wedding with the Vicks and the fucking, no ugly crying.
Yeah.
I know people grieve weird, but like at what point was it the WWE wedding or funeral? I'm sorry. Was it before that? Was it after that? At what point did you start saying to yourself, wait a minute, something ain't right there?
Yeah. So it wasn't that for me. I mean, I watched it. I watched the speech, and looking back at it, it sends all kinds of crazy alarm bells off. But at the time, whatever. And actually the guy I was talking to when we were first learning about it in real time and the pictures were coming out, the videos were coming out. He called me back, I want to say Monday or Tuesday. So what are they, like the 15th, maybe something like that. It was a day or two before she was announced that she was going to be the person. And he said, hey, I've got some information out of TPUSA. I know who they're going to put in Charlie's place. Because we had talked about the day he died, we talked about who would take over TPUSA as just, even if it's just a placeholder. And he had mentioned Tyler Boyer. He had mentioned Benny Johnson. He had mentioned Justin Strife, the COO. He had just been appointed to this new executive role. Why not just put him in there for a little while? And then he had mentioned Erica Kirk. And I was like, who the hell is that? Like, who is Erica Kirk? I didn't know who Charlie's wife was. And then I saw her give that speech, and then he called me back a couple days later. He's like, they're going to give it to Erica. And I was like, why? And he was like, I was like, you know what? I actually probably still have that text. I think the initial part of the conversation was by text. He said, I was like, well, you know what? I think it's the right thing to do in the short run, because I viewed Tyler Boyer as an opportunist and kind of shady. Benny Johnson, I thought, was like a total disaster. And, TPUSA at the time, even if you didn't like Charlie, it had value. It had the ability to turn voters out for conservative causes, Republican candidates at the college level. It just did. And, some of the states where, are decided by 500 votes or 1,000 votes or 10,000 votes, turning out a couple college campuses might make the difference. I don't think he's the reason Trump won either election. People say that a lot, and he's credited with that, but I'm not sure that's true. But some of the states get pretty tight, and turning out a bunch of college kids could be helpful. And so I thought, okay, yeah, Erica's probably not bad. She didn't do a terrible job in that speech or whatever. But before the memorial, I had a friend who was going to go to the memorial and backed out and decided not to. He's like, this is too weird. Something way too weird is going on with this. What
was it?
I don't feel comfortable with it. Already booked a plane, already booked a hotel room, and just said, no, I'm not going. And so there was already
selling tickets to a memorial. That's not weird. I mean, that's what everybody strives to do, right? And after death, charge fucking, that shit was crazy.
This weirdness that was going around in advance of the big shebang, the WWE, what do you call it? WWE wedding?
WWE funeral. Sorry.
Funeral, whatever.
Felt like a wedding.
It did. I mean, she wore white.
Dressed like it too.
She wore white. But yeah, I mean, I think I look back.
You know, would it be a far stretch to think that Charlie had caught her having an affair, and that's why they were arguing right there? I mean, if you listen to he slept in, I don't know if what Candace said is true. That just sounds fucking far-fetched, man. How do you sleeping in your kid's bed and you're only getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then your wife claiming that you slept in there so you could sleep good? It's like, what?
And say, hey, let's assume this was an operation to kill Charlie.
I can't help but think that first child was not Charlie's. It just seemed that way. I mean, we all know somebody who has tried to pin a pregnancy on somebody else or who has been deceitful. And at first, I just tried to blow it off as she's just a grieving widow, and everybody in chat that day was like, no, there's something off with that lady. She's fucking crazy. And the more that I watch, yeah, she's fucking out there.
Everyone was in on it. Like everyone Charlie knew was in on it.
I mean,
they've done absolutely everything wrong.
Even think to congratulate your team for selling T-shirts? We did a good job on merch. It's like, what? You just lost your husband. Who gives a fuck about a T-shirt?
Away with it. Absolutely everything. Starting with bringing Erica out. Like, she's been a disaster. As you dig into her past, as you uncover her prior statements, as you look into inconsistencies in stories she tells, on down to how they met. I mean, frankly, Charlie was in on that inconsistency as well. So,
what was it? They were in a customs line in Israel or something?
Well, that's when she says she first saw him. But there's this story that their first date was at Bob's Burgers in New York City, and that Charlie slid into her DMs and very slyly invited her to a job interview, and then turned it into a date and said, "I want to date you. I don't want to hire you." So this is like a cute fairy tale story. I think it's probably mildly illegal by HR standards, but
I was going to say, seems like a cross line, but
we'll let him have it. We'll let him have it.
He didn't hire her, I guess. So
yeah, he didn't. So maybe he got away with it.
He paid for it.
But then Tyler Boyer is seen on a podcast saying, no. They went on a date before when she was here in August, the month before that, or 2 months before that. And I was hyping Charlie up for the date. They went to a gym together. And so, I mean, like, everything about everything she says falls apart under the slightest bit of scrutiny, and she's just strange acting.
Very strange.
I mean, even if she's an innocent grieving widow, she's the strangest innocent grieving widow of all time. So if you're trying not to draw scrutiny to the situation, running her out there is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Had they just put her away for like even a year, hey, we've decided we're going to let Erica Kirk run this thing. She's going to be the CEO. But we're giving her the year on a sabbatical to spend with her family. She'll be in charge. She'll be overseeing everything, but she is expected to keep no office hours. She's going to do no events. She's going to go and grieve. And Justin Strife is going to run the place in the meantime, or Tyler Boyer is going to run the place in the meantime. I don't think there would be a lot of scrutiny on this case. I think a lot of the scrutiny comes from the feeling you had that September 12th, the feeling your friend had that September 12th, the feeling your friend's wife had that September 12th, the feeling a lot of us had by the end of the WWE funeral. It was just too weird. And then by the time she's showing up at events, tossing out merch, coming out to fireworks, and I mean, it's everything went wrong. And then it's like they realize, oh, well, this version of Erica Kirk's not working, so let's overcorrect.
Yeah.
And let's go to, she's only going to wear black now. Whenever she's seen in public, she's going to wear black. Except the time she's in her Little Bo Peep outfit. Then she's gonna be Little Bo Peep if she's in Arkansas. Like, who is she? No one dresses that. You see how I'm dressed.
Yeah.
I wear hoodies. That's what I wear.
Yeah.
I wear hoodies and t-shirts. If you catch me in a Little Bo Peep outfit, something's gone terribly wrong. I'm not being myself. So I think there's I think what you perceived, maybe other people took longer to perceive, but I think it's
Now, I want to start today's video with the best overall mattress, which is the Helix Midnight Lux.
I
Now,
don't
this
think
is
she's all
the
that
epitome
anyway.
of luxury in Kiva's
sort of ubiquitous by now.
Yeah, and like you said, it's the optics of it too, that you just from a PR perspective, which shouldn't be what this is about, by the way. It should be about an investigation, trying to get to the truth here. But just at the top layer of PR, the fact that people around TPUSA presumably couldn't see that this was she just made it worse every time she went out, to the point that she was still given, live speeches on his show that's somehow still named after him, even though he's dead, in like April and May. I'm like, guys, it's been 7 months. The polling's in. This is a Jeb Bush.
It's not
done.
working. This is Jeb Bush. Please clap.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's got to be, I haven't covered this case a ton on the show. We talked about it probably about 3 times before, other than we were live on air when it happened. Obviously, we were like all stunned. I was with Nate and Chris from the Religion Business when that happened, September 10th. But, I didn't do like full podcasts on it. And then a couple things happened. My guy, Alessi, who's been with me forever, was up in town. He lives down in Florida now, and he came up here. So we recorded one on his podcast when he was here, and he asked me about it a little bit. And we talked about it in some of those clips, especially the ones with Erica, went a little viral, where I gave some opinion. Then I had Clint Russell in here as well, and we talked about it for about 15 minutes. But until I had Joseph Scott Morgan in here to like just break down the forensic side of it, we hadn't talked about it in depth. But you've done 150 plus episodes on this at this point, and you were talking about this right away. So, what was it like in October, to be raising those kinds of questions, even about someone who's like a grieving widow and all that, at a time where a lot of people might take that the wrong way, even if that is like what we are clearly many of us were clearly feeling and seeing. Was that a little nerve-wracking to talk about it that way?
I didn't talk about her.
You didn't?
I didn't. I gave her the benefit of the doubt for months. And
what changed?
The book tour in December. It was so bizarre, so weird. The interview with Barry Weiss, the Fox and Friends appearance. I watched all of it, and every single appearance she did that week. I think it was like December 10th to 15th, something like that. It was mid-December. Every single appearance she did that week was so bananas that I thought, I've got to. I would fight with my listeners, because at the end of my show, I'll do Q&A and I'll just pull up questions, and depending on how late I want to stay up. But sometimes I'll do 2 hours of just Q&A with people, just boop, 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 just questions. And I was fielding questions on a daily basis at the time. Erica's too weird. You're being too nice. She's not a grieving widow. She killed him. And I was like, guys, you can't say that. And I was like, I've never lost my spouse. My spouse is very much alive. We've been married 25 years. Everything's fine. That I don't know what I would be like if she was suddenly murdered the next day. I have no idea how I'd react. Maybe I would be weird. Maybe I would act strangely. I'm very, very much not a public crier. I've gotten sad a few times in public, and I'm the most awkward, sad public person you've ever seen. I hate it. I'm trying to stop it at the same time, and I just don't like it. It's a very vulnerable position, and if you don't like feeling vulnerable, you don't like being emotional in public. And I kind of looked at her through those eyes. Maybe she's just very vulnerable. She's had a vulnerable childhood. She had vulnerable relationships. She's not very confident in her emotions. She doesn't know how to handle them, so she acts weird. This was not me just playing the game. This was not me just talking points. I genuinely thought she was acting weird, but I genuinely didn't know what to make of it and was unwilling to comment on it. And then the book tour happened. And I thought, no, there's something wrong here. Particularly the Barry Weiss interview.
I was just agreeing with him.
I mean, that was so performative to me, so strange. The love for our greatest ally and I mean, it was like so over the top. And I thought, no, there's something here. This is not right. I still at the time would not come out and say, and I don't believe I've ever said, she killed Charlie Kirk, or she planned to kill Charlie Kirk, or she was in on it. But I have allowed my mind to speculate. And
what does it speculate?
Well, I mean, it speculates that she doesn't have a very good alibi for where she was on September 8th and 9th. It speculates that she doesn't, frankly, have a very good alibi for where she was on September 10th.
Where did she say she was again?
She said she was on September 10th.
Yeah.
I think her current story maybe has not changed. She was at a clinic with her mom. She was watching the live stream, which is unusual because that live stream supposedly was not something they typically did. That was something new they were doing that day. And Terrell Farnsworth told Candace Owens that they were live streaming, quote, back to the ops in Arizona, that they were trying something new. And the fact that she's at a clinic with her very ill mother, and I do believe her mother's very ill. The fact that she was at a clinic with her very ill mother, but she's watching the live stream of her husband do something he's done, 1,000 times?
Right.
Like, why are you watching that one that day? I mean, Utah Valley University, fine university, not knocking it. It's not Harvard. It's not Ohio State. It's not UCLA. It's not one of the bigger, super high profile universities in the country. It's a good school in the heart of Utah that has some great students and professors, I'm sure. But it's not, if you're going on a college tour and you're talking on all the college tours, 100 college campuses a year or whatever he was doing, Utah Valley University is not one that would stand out and say, oh my God.
The fact that she waited on the tarmac for somebody else to arrive before she rushed to the hospital, I find very sus. There's nothing that would hold me back from getting to, dead or alive, that would hold me back from getting to my wife if she had something like that had happened to her. The fact that she waited on that other guy is very fucking weird. She was needing reassurance. She was needing security, somebody to be with her. And I don't mean security like security guard. I'm talking about mental security. And that shit was crazy, man. There's no fucking way. And then she waited an hour for him on the tarmac to get there, and then makes him go through a different door. That's says something bizarre, right? So they couldn't be seen together in public, right? But she waited for this dude for an hour. She was having an affair. I'm going to tell you right now, she was having an affair.
Gosh, this is the one I've got to watch live as it happens. Right. And so she says she's watching it, and she's watching him throw out hats. So obviously they're live streaming the hat throwing. So who was live streaming the hat throwing? Because all the other cameras were just focused on Charlie. They were just set up on Charlie. So
where he was going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never tipped an Uber driver before until yesterday when he told me this. I genuinely thought this guy was messing with me. I was in an Uber home from the airport.
No doubt.
And somehow we started talking.
No fucking doubt. It looks bad. The whole thing.
Not when he's out standing.
Yeah. So whose camera is she watching? Whose camera's fixed on him?
Else
he's throwing out hats.
That I don't agree with. She got a life insurance policy from TPUSA on Charlie for over $100 million. What was the need to sell tickets to a memorial? What was the need to sell merch at it? You just got $100 million. Plus, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Is somebody that fucking greedy? Because that shows a very greedy side of somebody. When the first thing that you think of is, how can we turn this into a money operation? It doesn't look good. No matter if she's guilty of doing anything to him or not, she's guilty of being fucking greedy, for sure. She seized the opportunity.
Then she says she puts her phone face down because she's with her mom. And then she said Mikey called a few seconds later after it happened.
Mikey McCoy,
the Charlie's chief of staff, and I think a pretty close family friend of theirs. And you know, that's a good story. But is that the Bob's Burger story? You know, did they actually go on a date in Scottsdale before they went to Bob's Burgers? Did they you know, it's a pretty cool story. But did you actually graduate summa cum laude? You know, with a double degree from wherever, Arizona State. That's a pretty cool story. But was that really only your second pageant, or was it your sixth? The problem with Erica is it's tough to believe her stories because so many of her stories don't hold up under scrutiny.
That's right.
And so, you know, if someone asks, where were you on that day? You saying I was with my mom is not very compelling, because you say a lot of things that when you scrutinize them don't really hold up. One of the things I would do if I was her PR person is I would get a hold of everything she's ever said publicly from the time she was 16 doing beauty pageants until yesterday. And I would somehow, whether you feed it into ChatGPT or whether you just create a spreadsheet or just memorize it, I would figure out what your story is. And I would make sure you either never address anything on that story ever again, or you clarify it.
Yeah.
I would also, if I was TPUSA, call everybody into a conference room and say, the next person that lies is fired. The next person who tells a story that's inconsistent is fired. Like we have a massive credibility gap. It's starting at the top, but it's bleeding through everybody. Andrew, your Twitter feed is a disaster. It is so easily disprovable on many occasions. So let's stop this. Let's stop just winging it. Let's get some discipline. Let's get some messaging. And let's stick to it.
That?
And if
you would think that would be the last thing anybody ever wanted to see again was that fucking tent. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
If it's not on the sheet, you don't know. If they ask where you were on this day and it's not on the sheet, I don't know. I'll check my calendar and get back to you. Because we're only talking about what's on this sheet from now on. But that's supposedly where she was on September 10th. And I don't know that I believe it.
Have you had, I presume, people from TPUSA reach out to you behind the scenes?
Yes. Lots
of them, like high up people as well, I take it. What's, without revealing specifics of stuff you want to keep private, like what's the nature of that? Shut the fuck up, or like, hey, we want to right your path here, you actually have this wrong, we could help you out with that? Like what are the types of things they're saying to you?
I've been given a lot of corrections where I've speculated on things and they say, here's what actually happened. And I've subtly made those corrections without burning a source.
Got it.
I've had
so meaning you had maybe sources that were around TPUSA or in it that maybe told you something that then wasn't true.
That's too much. That is too much. Look, so when has anything ever like that ever happened and they automatically repave over it? When somebody told me that in chat, I was in such disbelief. I thought that they were fucking trolling me. I said to myself, there ain't no way they did that. And then I watched the video where the dude's talking about, yeah, they gave me till Monday to have the shit done. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a cover up. That is a fucking cover up. That shit should have been roped off. There should have been a damn 2-week long investigation. People should be getting fired. People that left access to that rooftop should be getting fired, especially if that young man, quote unquote, walked up and went through a door to access the roof. Somebody failed on security. And then to listen to Charlie's own security fucking sit there and try to shuffle it off on everybody else, that was a little much for me too. That you're getting paid to protect a man. Okay, so they don't have somebody on the roof. That means you put somebody on the roof. Well, come to find out, there was somebody on the roof. That was behind Charlie. You mean tell me he didn't see a motherfucker straight in front of him 150 yards? 150 yards is not that fucking far.
Viably, and you're like, okay, so I don't want to burn them, but
or I had said something publicly on a podcast, and somebody said, well, you didn't quite get it right. Here's what really happened. And then, I can subtly make that change over the next few weeks without anyone really realizing that I've talked to someone.
Bro, I can point
so that's happened a few times.
I can point out the statement that I believe that got Charlie killed. And it was on that PBD podcast when he was talking about Israel and he was talking about the genocide that they were causing. That right there is what got him whacked.
And I've had good contact with a couple of particular people who have given me the temperature of what it's really like.
And I'm going to tell you, that's another reason why I don't never want to be fucking famous. I don't never want to have a platform where I got to worry about what I say. You know, somebody, could you imagine the pressure? And then you got people trying to pay you to try to sway people's opinion about this or that. No, sir. No, sir. I just hang out right here with y'all. Yeah.
There right now.
What's it like in there right now?
She's not super supported from some of the top people,
Including people that maybe are putting on a face publicly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm told. The information's only as good as people tell me, but not super supported, not really running things. Is kind of the, you guys keep saying she's running it into the ground. She's not running much of anything.
Listen, when he asked about that Doge, right? He was wanting, I honestly think that he had found out some information, and with all of it combined, it just kind of, they was like, he got to go. He got to go. And I don't know why, but I think that she knows. I think that she knows. I think they told her. And if you look like the way that they lied about, why is it important about how they met? Unless she's a handler, right? I mean, think about that. What's the big deal about them confirming the way that they met in the first date that they went on? Why does that got to be a big secret to the public? If you're a public figure and they're asking, hey, how did y'all two meet? The only reason you would lie about that is because you were put in that position. Somebody knew what Charlie was attracted to, and it was often the race.
And that's,
his whole life, though, come to find out, had been put in place. He was staged in there to take over to do what he was doing.
That's the two big things. I mean, I've got a specific piece of information.
I'm going to tell you that now.
But that's sort of the general consensus that I keep getting.
Got it. When he was shot, obviously we've seen all the video after that.
We use the word shot very loosely there.
Yeah, loosely there. But when he was hit and went down, and everyone sees the blood come out, and then you see the security team converge. They obviously ended up taking him, carrying his body back to the truck. There was no ambulance near there, I guess, at the time. So they take him to the truck, and what was it, 5 guys?
And where were
the car
the
with him?
paramedics?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you have a big event like that, they always got paramedics on site, even though they may be off duty, but there's always an ambulance and there's always a paramedic. Where were they? Hell, you can go to your local dirt track on Saturday night, and guess what? They got a fucking paramedic and an ambulance waiting just for if something happens.
What are some of the things there that you've taken issue with as far as what's been reported about what happened with his body just going from the point of attack to the car to the hospital?
I can't second guess a security team and say what I would have done differently because I've never worked personal security. I've never been trained for it. I don't know all the things that go into it. It's easier to hire someone to do it than try to figure it out yourself. But when you look at it, just based on their statements, there are a lot of things I think probably went wrong from the beginning. For example, we talked about the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 or 4 people from TPUSA have been on record saying that they were concerned about the roofs. Well, if you're concerned about the roofs, you have 2 options. Well, 3 really. They took the 3rd option and it didn't work out. The first 2 options, though, could have kept them alive. Number 1 is you either
So I asked Copper Top a question a while ago. 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Oh, it scrolled on me. Let me start that over. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all things that shall be dissolved, what matter of person ought ye be in all holy conversation and godliness? 12. Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fringent heat. Nonetheless, we according to promise look for the new heavens and the new earth, when dwelling righteousness. Chapter 2, Peter 3. This is what you asked me, Will. This is about this time. Most definitely, sir. God's got a passage where man becomes too smart for his own good, and that's when the coming of the Lord will be.
Solve the roof problem by putting your own
I
people
don't
on
know
the roofs.
exactly what passage it is, but
Or
I do remember hearing it.
you put somebody at a high position that has roof oversight. Like, I've done big events. I've been at big events.
This is Mitchell Hooper, the world's strongest man, and for every car he flips off this
Bigger events than that, frankly, tens or hundreds of thousands of people. And I know the security protocol that we were told, hey, you'll have something in your ear. If you hear a certain word, that's stage clear. Everyone's gone. Show's over, folks. Sorry, you will not be getting a refund. Goodbye. Why wasn't that in place? Why didn't they have somebody at the highest point? If they're worried about the roofs, figure out which roof is the highest and stick somebody up there.
Yeah, the man was.
And the second you see somebody
definitely worried about it, he even said something about the roofs, but he depended on somebody else to do his job. That's the first thing that you do when you protect your client. That's the most vulnerable place that you got. That's the first thing you do. That's just common sense.
in all black climbing on a roof, whatever the code word is, purple, 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 purple. Show's over, folks.
No matter what they're wearing.
Charlie's gone. Sorry to end it 8 minutes into the program, but he's in Salt Lake City before anyone knows what happened. If you're not going to do that, then you have to conduct
that's exactly
the entire thing from a different.
That's what the plan was until Charlie grew a fucking backbone and a spine of his own.
Different security posture, in my opinion. You have to, if you're not going to have somebody at High Point watching the roofs, or you're not going to have somebody stationed on the roofs, you have to have security run in mind with the roofs are a primary concern. So maybe you're watching roofs from the ground.
I'll tell you this, though. I do believe that Charlie Kirk is in heaven. That I do believe.
Maybe you have somebody stationed in a different place. Maybe you move the tent. Maybe you delay the event an hour to reconvene from a slightly different angle or a slightly different location. I don't know. But I know the third option is the one they chose, and it was, hey, Charlie, we don't like the looks of these roofs. These roofs look dangerous. You look like you're at risk. Here, sit here. Do your show here. We'll make sure nobody's overlooking the roofs. We'll make sure nobody's on the roofs. Just have a seat here, sir. You'll be fine. That's not it. I mean, I've said this many times on my show. If I'm hiring security people, I'd rather have somebody smart than beefy. The fact that you can roll around and shoot a gun while you're rolling is not as impressive to me as watching around as I'm walking down the street. Not as impressive as having situational awareness and enough of an IQ that you can detect, hey, something's not right. I don't feel good. Let's go a different direction. Let's get out of here.
So his IQ is pretty good then.
He's a very smart guy.
Struck me that way.
We IQ people. We IQ test people. No, but I mean, that's more of a concern to me, because once the shooting starts, you've lost.
That's right.
The game's over. I tell people this with a lawyer all the time. Don't get sued. Once you get sued, you've already lost. I don't care if you win, you've lost. It's going to cost you a lot of money. It's very inconvenient. It's
Lawyers win.
Yeah. There with free speech and journalism, there are some protections because you can always, like anti-slap statutes, for example. I'm sure you're familiar with what you do. But I think from a pre-show posture, it seems to me evident on its face that there's a failure. But that's not me coming and saying Brian Harpole's group failed Charlie and got him killed. That's not the point. My point is, as we're second guessing and looking, the next time somebody does an event and someone doesn't feel comfortable with the roofs, let's evaluate the roofs. Right. Let's think about it, and let's evaluate whether we should do the show at all or should we put people in different places. The excuse they keep giving that, we only have permission to be in this area right here. Well, Tyler Robinson didn't have permission to get on the Losi Center roof either, but he did. That's their story. So if he doesn't have permission to get up there, yet somehow manages to, you got 12 or 13 people with you, and you can't put one person on the highest point in the facility that's overlooking the tent. The Losi Center would have been a pretty good place. You'd have had operational oversight over the entire field. Well, that sounds like a great place to be.
Right. When did this particular security team though? Because again, this was a new tour he was going on. This was the first one. They put this team together shortly before that, right? It was those guys hadn't all worked together for Charlie Kirk prior to this point, or am I misremembering that?
I think the base of the team had worked for Charlie Kirk for a while,
but not every single guy on the team together working for him.
I don't know whether we can say they've never worked for him, but I know that they hadn't spent years working with him. Okay. I think we can safely say that.
Got it. All right. So you talked about the 30-06 and some of the issues with,
Robert Top, if you watch that PBD podcast, you hear it. He says it right there. And in the fact that damn Bibi Netanyahu, or however you say his damn name, come right out right away and said, I did not have Charlie killed. That looks fucking weird. If you didn't do something, you don't have to announce to the world you didn't do it.
And how the hell that bullet could have been stopped and all that. And you mentioned, what was the gentleman's name?
The way social media is. And trust me, they spend a lot of fucking money on social media.
Who initially had the shot from another
Chris Martinson.
So you mentioned his theory. What do you like? Bad visual to give, but gun to your head. What do you think actually killed him?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't think it was a gunshot. I don't necessarily think it was a single modality. I think it could have been multiple things taking place at once.
And you know what? They took God out of the schools because that's where it starts. You have to teach children about God so they'll continue to search him out their whole life. It's very seldom that a grown person comes to God. It just is, especially when they've been out in the world, because they'd rather have worldly things. And I know that's not like a hot topic with everybody. I get that, but that's just how I see the world.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna, if you've made an operational decision to kill Charlie Kirk, are you going to have the entire operation rest on a single point of failure? In other words, are we going to put a sniper on the roof and hope he kills him? You know, people get shot point blank in the head and live. If the goal is to kill him,
that's right.
You want him dead.
Hey,
like you do not want him walking out of there.
Good to see you, sir.
And so maybe you have built-in redundancy. You know, when you get on an airplane, if there's no critical function that rests on a single point of failure, there's backup, usually triplicate backup. That's why planes don't fall out of the sky very often. Cars are different. Cars have single points of failure.
I seen Triple T's teeth popping out of his mouth this morning. I did laugh at that. I thought that was funny.
But you just pull over to the side of the road. You can't pull the plane over to the side of the road. You know, it's going to fall out of the sky from 35,000 feet. So most critical functions are redundant. And I think in this situation, you probably have redundancy. And so it's undeniable to me that something moved. Something caused his shirt to move in a very unnatural way that's inconsistent with a bullet. The Rode microphone, actually travel with them. I have them with me. The Rode microphone goes from his right collar all the way towards the middle of his neck. Those have mass. They're not easy to move. His necklace, which is hanging down.
They have what? I'm sorry.
They have mass. I mean, they're not.
Opiate dependency is a disease that can be cured.
The ANR procedure will.
They're not styrofoam.
Like MASS?
Yeah. Mass.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they have substance. They're not the heaviest things in the world, but they're not the lightest things in the world. To get one to move at that pace in 2 frames of a camera, you know, you're talking a 30th of a second, a 15th of a second to move from your right collarbone to the middle of your neck in a 15th of a second or 30th of a second. That's very, very fast. Something caused that. Did it explode? Did something eject out of it? I don't know. Was it damaged? Did it remain whole? I don't know. It would be easy to prove it remained whole. Just, you know, those record on a 32-bit waveform, just release it, you know, or show us that it kept recording. I think you could fake it, but at least you could try to show that it didn't explode. So his microphone moved. His necklace, that the charm was hanging down in the pictures, down below his sternum, like right below his xiphoid process right there. It shot up towards his neck at basically the speed of light. I mean, it was so fast. What caused that? That's not a gunshot wound to the neck. That necklaces don't jump that high when you're struck in the neck. There are some angles that look like the necklace on the back of his neck, the chain on the back of his neck goes straight back off his neck, or at least his shirt goes straight back off of his neck, and you can still see the neck, and I don't see a hole. So if the gunshot wound to the neck is supposedly causing all this stuff, why is this happening before a hole appears in his neck? Now it's possible the hole was super small, but it didn't look super small with that much blood coming out of it. So there's just a lot of problems with the gunshot narrative that I default to the fact that there's something that was acting on his body. There was some force that was acting on his body. Whether that force came from the microphone, from the necklace, whether it was some high-tech force that we don't even know exists.
Here's the part where they fucking lose me with the exploding microphone. Where was the burnt fabric? If his mic would have exploded underneath a white t-shirt, you would assume you would see some kind of fire, something, some kind of explosive mark on it.
Just, you know, some sort of, you know, for lack of a better word, like an EMP or something that blasted at him all at once. I really don't know the answer to that.
Is there a way that, whether it's in like Chris Martinson's lane of an actual second shooter down there, different gun, is there a way that if someone's shooting from much closer than 138 yards, as it was alleged where Tyler Robinson shot, that, you know, the kinetic energy or types of things that could happen could explain the movement of the mic, of the shirt, of the chain in the back and all that in a more satisfying way than what they say happened from 138 yards away?
I think the closer you are, the more force a 30 caliber round arrives with, the more likely it is to blow out the back of his neck. So I'm not entirely satisfied with that, but I think, you know, I don't think he was shot with a bullet. If he was, it was a redundancy, because the injuries are, in my opinion, and the people I've talked to several medical professionals last couple of days since the prosecution filed their motion that included a few lines from the medical exam.
They filed it.
Yeah. I mean, there's injuries from the top of his heart to the top of his head. It's really difficult for me to accept that all of that took place from a single gunshot wound.
So injuries, meaning like internal bleeding,
Yes.
bruises, every day, like a litany of things.
Hemorrhaging. I'm not a doctor, and they were big words, and I had to look up every word just to understand what they were saying. But I mean, even like the parietal lobe of his brain above it was damaged. I mean, you're talking like 2 feet worth of injuries. It's something that's just, to me, unprecedented. Like I looked and looked for examples of those types of injuries from gunshot wounds. You can't find the collection of them in any single gunshot wound to the neck that I could find. I did not look at every medical exam ever conducted in history, but
no, it'd be interesting. It's way above my pay grade.
Yeah,
but
way
that's
above mine as well.
That's interesting that it's that.
It's a tremendous amount of damage. The most telling thing that they filed in their motion was that his C2 to C6 was obliterated.
Is that what they wrote?
Yeah, wow. The left side, so the side where the wound was, from C2, which is way up here, to C6, which is down here. The left side of all those vertebrae were completely obliterated, and his spinal cord was traumatically absent in that range, meaning there was no connection from his brain to his body at all.
So even beyond death, when he was hit, he was a quadriplegic. Am I hearing that right, or did I totally fuck that up?
Yes, according to the medical exam.
Okay.
But then now go back and watch the video. And I can't play the video on YouTube, neither can you, because YouTube doesn't like that video. But if you go back and watch the video, after this all happens, after his C2 to C6 spinal cord is completely gone, traumatically absent, completely transected.
He fences.
Do what?
He fences, right?
Yeah. He clenches both fists. He flexes his elbows, his knees stay out, he stays erect, his head stays up.
And there's no way, again, way above my pay grade, there's no medical explanation for that being physically possible.
No, I talked to a neurosurgeon yesterday after that came out, or 2 days ago, whenever it was. I talked to a professor of that I can't remember what his title was, but it was long. And I had them go over this with me line by line. And both of them agreed. And the professor started giving me citations to PubMed papers that demonstrate that it's impossible. That once you lose, once it transects, you have about 1/10 of a second before everything goes flaccid. And the way he described it was, he said, I'm not saying flaccid like he would have dropped the microphone. I'm saying he would have lost all muscle tone from the neck down. Like every muscle would have turned into just goo. It would have just all complete. His knees would have collapsed. He would have fallen immediately off the chair. His head would have immediately fallen over. He wouldn't have held onto the microphone and then slowly let it go. Like we watched the video together.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have slowly let go of the microphone. Everything would have collapsed. The gravity would have taken over to his body instantly. Like he said, like 1/10 to 1/10.5 of a second is all you have left.
I don't believe that.
Once those electrical charges are gone.
I don't believe that. I think that his muscles contracted.
And the body's done. It's no longer receiving any input whatsoever from the brain. And so I look at that and I say, okay, well, something obviously was still acting on his body. I'd speculated in October because of a medical professional who contacted me. And he said at the time that it looked more like electrocution than a gunshot to him because
electrocution.
Yeah. He said because of the flexion. And this was after the Andrew Colvett tweet is what prompted him to reach out, because he said, hey, if he had that much damage to his vertebrae, his spinal cord likely was transected and he wouldn't have been holding on to anything. Something had to be powering his nervous system that's not his brain. And the only thing he was holding on to that had power was the microphone. He said, have you looked into the fact that the microphone may have lit him up? And so I started looking up video of singers who would touch those same SM58 Shure microphones.
People has been passed away for days that have muscle contractions and stuff, you know. It's not unheard of.
And they did a lot of the same stuff that, you know, and fall back to the stage. So I don't know. I really don't know what it was. But I'm confident, 99.9% confident it was not a 30-06 to the neck. That would not produce, in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, but I have talked to them and they're confident as well. It wouldn't produce those damages. Like something else was going on. It's possible he was struck with something in the neck other than a 30-06. It's possible he was electrocuted. It's possible something happened to the Rode microphone. It's possible something else was strapped to his body that we don't even know was strapped to his body because they were trying something new and streaming back to the ops
they carried him
in
out
Arizona.
There so damn fast.
But to me, the 30-06 narrative died with that filing. And keep in mind, when a medical examiner does the exam, they're not watching the video. They're just describing what they see.
Yeah.
You know, and they might very well have seen that damage. But they didn't know he was still flexing and had this apparent decorticate posture after his C2 to C6 was traumatically absent. So, you know, to answer the question, how did he die? I don't know.
What'd you make of the bullet? Do we have a picture of that, Deef? The bullet they released at the preliminary hearing where they put out, it was with like a measuring stick. Because again, I do live in a country where they released, they talked about a magic bullet. So
yeah.
Well, this is not only, does go up a little
This is not only a magic bullet, it's a missing bullet. The lady who tested it for the ATF, the lady who testified about the testing for the ATF, read from a report where 7 fragments were removed from Charlie's body.
7 fragments.
Yeah. But she only received 4 in an envelope, in a manila envelope. She received 4 of the 7. I would think in a murder investigation, you would want, if you pull something out of his body, that would go along with the rest of the evidence. Where are the other 3 pieces? Are these the same 4 pieces that were pulled out of his body? I don't know. It's possible the autopsy photos will show that, yes, in fact, those were exactly what was pulled out of his body. But we also don't know the chain of custody of his body. He wasn't taken by ambulance. He was surrounded by security people who didn't guard the roof. So that's the casing.
Yeah. The one that was at, sorry, I forgot to say it. The one that actually showed like the aftermath of it. They released the trial. You know, when we did solo number 23 after JSM, I think I put that link in that Google Drive folder. That would have been like 3 weeks ago. So it should be there, but it shows it next to like an actual measurement. So you can see like how the bullet allegedly changed and all that. But like, so do you think you would use this word a few minutes ago? I want to make sure I understood this. You said there could have been something that was a redundancy.
Yeah.
Meaning like maybe a bullet was fired after he was already hit with something else.
Well, so this would be an example of redundancy. I'm not saying this is it, but let's throw everything in together.
Yeah, that's it. I hate to do
you've got,
this to y'all, but
let's say he was the Michael.
A hot service call. Papa got to go make that money. I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all for chilling with me, man. I appreciate it. I always enjoy hanging out with y'all peoples for sure. All right, we out of here.